Live from Northeast Texas, it's
So sorry that we didn't go live yesterday on Valentine's Day. I totally had planned a whole Valentine's Day related episode where I would be talking about, is God really love? The question is, Christians say, is God love? And the question is he really? If we were to look at his act, that is the actions of a loving God, I would say no. But sadly, you know, I woke up and it was absolutely just storming yesterday. Um, and as a result, my internet was, guys, it was bad. It was really bad. So bad, in fact, that at one point in the day, around 6:30, my electricity went off, which is about around the middle of around the time we'd be doing the live normally. So I guess it's fortunate that I didn't go live because I would have just left you guys hanging, which would not have been fun. But we are here. We are here early today, a whole hour ahead of schedule. Here we are. So everyone, make sure you are tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, and with your enemies. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, and today's message is Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong. Way to Life Ministry says Jesus is defo alive. Well, prove that he is. You can say it all day. You telling me that Jesus is alive all day is no different than someone telling me that Aristophanes is alive all day. Like, nice claim, bro. Prove it. Yeah, it stormed here, so I had to call my delivery job for the day. Oh, it sucks. The amount of people who believe in ideas that are nowhere older than the universe itself. I mean, technically, aren't all ideas no older than the universe? You have no provable moral framework. Prove me wrong. I do have a moral framework, secular humanism, which is infinitely better than the Bible. But I see how you can't give me evidence that Jesus is dead, so you try to move to a different topic. Very sneaky, but it won't work on me. Sorry, bud. Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong. Why do you think they stopped copying Papias? Why do you think they stopped? What do you mean stop copying him? What do you mean? What do you mean exactly, Velvet Worm? You can't have this idea and not be chased out of home, school, and everywhere. Well, I'm sitting in my house. Haven't been chased out yet. All right, we're gonna bring up the first guest for the day. The last true artist. All right. The last true artist, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. So question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
All right. Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then question number 3, is Jesus dead?
Jesus never existed, period.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, all right. So you're not opposition. Did you have a question for me?
Yes, I do. But before I do that, it is an honor to be in your presence. I've seen your show before, and thank you for what you do. Now I'll ask my question. Do you think that E.T. was a documentary?
No.
Why?
Because it was written and directed by Steven Spielberg. It's
Absolutely. We can agree on that, but we can also disagree on that. The reason why we can disagree on that is because that would be your choice to believe that it wasn't a documentary.
Are you just a troll?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the subject at hand. You see, what humans forget to.
All right, so I'm going to bring up Way to Life Ministries. Way to Life Ministries. I'm going to ask you the 3 standard questions, and then we get to the argument. So, are you at least 18? What are your pronouns? And is Jesus dead?
I'm 18. I'm 33. What was the second question?
What pronouns do you go by?
Pronouns. What? He, him.
And then, is Jesus dead?
No.
All right. I think Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
Why do you think he's dead? What evidence do
Because-
you use to prove he's dead?
Oh no, it's just the default position. I've been given no reason to think that he is alive.
Okay, so
good
you
reason.
said he's dead, which means he has lived, right?
Yeah, for the sake of this argument, I'm just going to presuppose the existence of Jesus of Nazareth. He was a man who was crucified crucified by the Romans, took a huge L from them. I'm just going to lean on the partial interpolation theory of Flavius Josephus for evidence for that. So, what's the evidence that he rose
So
again?
are you going to believe in you took 3/4 of the Bible, correct?
No, I don't have a percentage that I necessarily believe in.
Well, what I mean by that is you've took the life of Jesus, which is in the Bible.
No,
You admitted that he was living, which is in the Bible.
sure.
And you took the fact that he died, which is in the Bible. But
Sure, it's also
then
in the
you
works
won't
of
take
Flavius
them-
Josephus. I did.
But then
by,
why
the way,
won't-
by the way, wait,
but
wait,
then why-
wait alive.
That's
You
my
asked me
point.
where did I get my belief that Jesus was a living person? Notice how I didn't say the Bible. Why are you pointing to the Bible?
So where did you get? Okay, so you got it from Josephus, right?
Yeah,
Okay, and where does Josephus get it from?
we don't know.
Do you think it would be the prophets of old,
No,
the people at the time who had witnessed Jesus?
No. No.
Okay, then if you don't believe that, then where do you
we don't.
think?
We,
Just think.
we don't.
Just
we
give
don't.
it.
We don't know. We don't know.
So we don't know.
But we're
So
not here to
there's the-
debate.
so there's
but
the-
we're not.
so-
But we're not
so
here to
there's-
debate. But we're not here to debate the existence of Jesus. I'm just going to agree with you that he existed. But what's the evidence that he's
Yeah, but
still
based on what
alive?
premise? Based on what
Yeah,
premise did he
Joseph-
exist?
Josephus. Do you want me to be?
You've made.
Do you want me to be a mythicist? Is that what's going on?
No. So the point. Let me clarify the point, because in those questions I was trying to make a point. So the point was, you've put a claim which says Jesus is dead. The fact you're saying Jesus is dead means you must believe that he once existed and he lived. And the claims and the evidence we have for that is the scriptures. Josephus bases his opinions, his historical opinions, from those who believed
Whoa.
and followed Jesus.
What's the
Those
evidence that
who follow-
what's the evidence that Josephus got his information from those who knew Jesus, as opposed to just people who believe
well,
already?
not
like,
necessarily knew Jesus,
as
those
as
who knew
opposed to
the
those- as opposed to those who just already believed in something.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is those who put it, when I say believe, we can believe in Jesus today, right? It doesn't mean like I'm walking right next to him. What I mean is those who believed in Jesus, those who believed in the scriptures, those who wrote the scriptures, if you like, and passed it on and transliterated. So when you have Josephus, he would have got his information from the Bible, essentially, and those that were preaching and teaching the Bible. So for you to say Jesus was alive,
Here, let me
you're
make this.
basically-
Here,
you're
let me make this.
I'm
Let me
almost-
make
I'm
this.
almost
Let
done,
me.
almost done.
No.
almost done.
Let me
almost
make
done.
this
Can-
simple.
Let me
Let me
land?
let me make this simple for you. Okay. The claim that a guy existed isn't really all that extraordinary, which is why I'm so willing and able, for the sake of this argument, to just accept it. A guy existed. Sure. A Jewish guy existed. Sure. A Jewish guy existed that was crucified by the Romans. We have hundreds of examples of that in the first century. So it's not extraordinary. So the amount of evidence I need to corroborate that piece of that bit of historical fact, not very high. But do you have any evidence that he isn't still dead? Let's just already start the conversation with the assumption that Jesus existed. He was crucified by the Romans, because that's not an extraordinary claim. Lots of people were killed by the Romans. What is the evidence that
you've
he's
made the
not
claim that
still
Jesus-
dead?
But I'm dealing with your question. If your question was different, then
fine. Do you want me to hold the mythicist position? Do you really want to go that route?
if you want to. So what I'm
Let's
saying
see.
is, you've said,
Fine,
I'm going off
fine,
what you
Jesus,
said. I'm not
fine,
making
fine.
up stuff. I'm not.
Fine. Jesus did not exist. Prove that he existed.
Well, what you have to change your word in there from Jesus is dead.
Well, no, I'm just ignore
So now
what's
you're
above my
changing your
head.
stance.
Ignore above my head.
No.
Jesus
'cause
not
that's what
only
we're
is not
doing.
Jesus. Well, do you want to debate that Jesus is dead, or do you want to debate that Jesus lived? Which one do you want to debate?
I
We're
clearly want.
only going to do one of those debates.
Yeah, but you're muting me when I'm making my points.
Pick one. Take a stance. You want to debate that Jesus that lived,
Obviously, I
or
was
do you want, or do you want to debate that Jesus resurrected from the dead? Which one of these two do you want to debate? I'm not doing both.
Yeah, I'm not interrupting you, yet you're muting me when I speak. I don't understand.
Yes, because I'm trying to move the conversation forward. No one here is interested in the mythicist
Why are
debate.
you running from the point?
No,
Yeah, but that's what running.
no one. I'm not running. I'm trying to move us. I'm trying to get you to provide me evidence that Jesus isn't dead. Okay, way to life.
I'm gonna get you there, but it's sometimes you've got to start somewhere before you can land.
Yes, and the starting point is that I'm just going to accept that a guy named Jesus of Nazareth existed, and that he was crucified by the Romans. We can just start there and move forward with the conversation. What is the evidence that he's not still dead?
Okay, so the same evidence that gives you that Jesus was alive is the same evidence that we would use to say that Jesus resurrected.
Do you believe that Alexander the Great was born of Zeus?
It's plausible, possible.
You think Zeus is real? The god Zeus?
It's possible, not the way he's described, but possible. Fallen angels existed.
So you just believe every claim made by any ancient source. So do you believe that Romulus was resurrected from the dead and ascended to heaven?
I'm saying that there's things that are drawn in hieroglyphics. There's evidences out there.
Wait a life. Do you believe that Apollonius of Tyana? Do you believe that Apollonius of Tyana was resurrected from the dead?
No.
Was he a real person? Was he a real person?
I don't know.
Well, as far as the evidence is concerned, so Apollonius of Tyana was just a regular guy, but there's also like the same sources that talk to us about the life of Apollonius also tell us that he resurrected from the dead. Do we just automatically believe, you would agree with me that the claim that a guy existed is not all that extraordinary, and even if a text contains supernatural myth within it, the claim that Alexander the Great was a real person or Apollonius of Tyana was a real person, these aren't extraordinary claims, and we can just move on to the actual thing that's actually important. Is, was Alexander demonstrably born of the god Zeus? Did Apollonius of Tyana actually resurrect from the dead? And did Jesus resurrect from the dead? And was he born of the god Yahweh? Like, we don't have to talk about the existence of these guys because it's not all that extraordinary. I don't require a high degree of evidence to believe that Jesus existed as a person. I do require a substantial amount of evidence to believe that he's not still dead. Now, give me evidence that Jesus isn't dead.
So this would then, you'd have to deal with the facts and the manuscripts. So when you're dealing with Alexander, for example, being born of Thor, how many manuscripts would there be?
Thor.
Who did you say? You
Zeus.
said one of the gods, didn't you? Zeus, sorry, that's it. So being born of Zeus, how many manuscripts back that? How many witnesses were there? You know, what evidence do we have?
We don't have.
What historians?
First, we don't have any witnesses for the resurrection of Jesus, and secondly, the number of manuscripts doesn't make it more true. If I write something down that's not true, and then I copy it down 10,000 times, all that tells me is that people really believed the thing I said, not that the thing I said was actually true.
So we believe that obviously the Bible was written by witnesses.
What's the evidence of that?
Whether we have early manuscripts, that's not what the argument is here. But the argument is that we believe that those manuscripts were copied.
What's the evidence? What's the evidence that they were written by eyewitnesses to the resurrection?
Well, I have faith. I will say. I will say I have faith that it was written. reason
care
the
about
reason being is though because
we don't
I
care
agree.
about
I
we don't
understand.
care about faith here. So what reasons do you have to believe that the gospels
Okay,
were written
so
by
in the
eyewitnesses?
same, what reason do you believe that Jesus was alive?
I already told you that the amount of evidence that lots of people wrote about a guy named Jesus who died. It's not extraordinary for the same reason that I believe Apollonius was a real
Correct.
person and that Alexander was a real person.
Correct.
But again, you made the claim that the gospels were eyewitnesses.
So
No,
so
they
people
aren't.
also wrote about his resurrection. People did write about his resurrection.
Which is perfectly fine because that's perfectly explainable by naturalistic explanations.
Well, then he
Occam's-
resurrected. Then even if
no,
you argue
no.
it then for a natural way, he resurrected.
No, you don't. You don't understand. You don't understand. When I say naturalistic
I
explanations,
do.
I do.
but
I do.
disagree.
No, you don't. Because if you made that statement, you don't know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Jesus was actually resurrected through natural means, but that they only believed he was resurrected through naturalistic means. There's a difference.
Okay. Yeah, and let's say so. Your argument doesn't stand because you're saying that even if he did resurrect, it could be done through
He did not resurrect supernatural or natural.
Oh,
otherwise.
he did not resurrect.
No,
Okay,
he
why
did
do you
not.
have
He did not. He did not resurrect. Okay. Have you ever heard of what's called a bereavement hallucination?
Okay. Yeah, so I
Well,
understand.
that was a
I know
question.
exactly what it is.
That was a question.
Yes, I understand it. Yeah, I understand what it is. People see the
What is
dead
it?
after they've died.
What percentage of people experience hallucinations that aren't mentally ill?
Lots of people.
Yeah, like 30 to 60%.
I don't know what the percentage is. There's a lot. Yeah.
30 to 60% of people. So,
Okay.
who was the first person that Jesus appeared to? According to Paul.
To the ladies, wasn't it? Mary and.
According to Paul, our oldest source is Paul.
Yeah.
According to him.
So you have different accounts, don't you? So obviously, some will say that the soldier was first. Some will say that it was the ladies, and some will say it was I think Peter who ran and saw him.
Paul says that Paul gives us a list of people that Jesus allegedly appeared to. The first person that lists is Peter.
500 people.
Well,
yeah,
you don't.
No, yeah,
you
but
don't,
there's different gospel accounts.
Yeah, but the question is, well, yeah, the gospels aren't reliable though. Like the gospels can't even agree. The gospels can't even agree as to when Jesus was like born, what decade he was born in. So like, why would I believe him about anything about Jesus? If they can't even get the birth narratives are like way the fuck like contradicting each other. Why would I believe anything else it has to say about Jesus?
But this is changing the subject now, isn't it? But now you're talking about the history.
You asked. No. You asked. Why would you not trust the gospels? I gave you an answer. You're the one who asked the question.
So some things are in the Gospels. They don't. It feels like they don't align, but that's just because you have different witness statements.
It's not about feelings.
But hang on.
It's not about feelings. It's not about. It's not about feelings. It's about data. The data do not support. The data point us to the idea that the Gospels absolutely do not align with each other as to when Jesus of Nazareth was born. One makes the claim he was born sometime between 6 to 4 BCE. The other gospel makes the claim he was born a decade later in 6 CE. That's not reliable. Not even close. It's not about feelings either.
I don't understand why you're muting me when I'm having a. I'm not arguing with you.
Because you're talking while I'm talking. Because you're talking while I'm talking.
You cut me off and interrupt me.
Yeah. Fun fact. It's my live.
You're exactly doing that. Yeah, that's fine. But
yeah.
Is it okay? Maybe I'm on the wrong live then. I take it isn't for conversation. Is it? It's just for you to talk over.
This isn't a conversation. No, this isn't a conversation. This is an interrogation. I want to find out from you why I should believe your bullshit claim. You're here to answer my questions. You're here to answer my questions. I'm the interrogator here.
But if I'm trying to prove you wrong,
it's not about proving me wrong. It's not about proving me wrong. It's about proving.
Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
It's ultimately about
you providing the evidence. Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, it's ultimately about you providing evidence that Jesus isn't dead.
But if you say Jesus is there, prove me wrong, that requires you to listen and answer questions.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the questions are relative, and again, we keep going back
But
to
you're not.
So okay, wait till life. No one gives a shit about
But
the
you're
meta.
not
Of
asking
the,
questions.
no,
You're mute.
no one gives a shit about the meta. You can
You're
cry
just
all day.
muting.
You can cry all day long. Do you want to have the conversation and give me evidence that Jesus resurrected from the dead? We can start with the claim that the Gospels are eyewitness accounts. Can you provide me any evidence that the Gospels are eyewitness accounts and therefore are reliable to tell me facts about Jesus? Respond or I'll move
Is this the
on.
part where I speak? Is it?
When
Well,
I
is this
stop,
the
when
part where I'm allowed to speak?
when I ask you a question and it ends with a question mark and I stop talking, yes. I don't know. That's the part where you give me an answer to the thing I asked you. He's wiping tears on 1 second. So again,
You keep
what is the
muting me.
evidence? Okay, if you keep complaining about me muting you, I will just keep doing it. I will just keep doing it all fucking day long. I can do this all day long. I want you to provide me a good reason. Oh, he went away. Oh, he didn't want to provide evidence for his position. He wanted to talk about whether or not Jesus existed, and he didn't want to give me evidence that he resurrected from the dead. What a fucking baby. Hopefully the next guest will actually give a good reason to think Jesus isn't dead, but I sincerely doubt it because the next guest is an individual who, historically speaking, has never been able to provide me a reason to believe anything. Real quick before I bring up Iden, let's see, today's date is 2/15/26. Last guest was, well, what the fuck was his name? I already forgot. Life Ministries. Big Baby can't provide evidence of witnesses. All right, we'll bring up Iden. I don't have high confidence in Iden's ability to provide this evidence for the resurrection, but who knows? Maybe today he'll surprise us. So Iden, we already know you're over 18 years old. You go by he, him, and you don't think Jesus is dead. So Iden, what is the evidence that Jesus is still alive or that he resurrected?
There's a lot of ways to think about it. The way I like to do it is just to see the impact on the world today. So you can see like the global church
I don't care
and
about
how
that.
powerful. Okay, so what do you care about?
Evidence for the resurrection, not evidence that not evidence that the religion became popular and that believers are able to do things. I would like evidence that Jesus isn't dead.
So how about if the early believers believed he was resurrected? They saw him multiple times.
Sure. Do we? Are there good naturalistic explanations for that?
No.
Really? How familiar are you with bereavement hallucinations, Iden?
I'm not.
Okay, so a bereavement hallucination, which happens in a ton of people, by the way, is when you have an individual who is grieving the loss of the death of a loved one, especially an attachment figure. And what will end up happening is that these people who experience these hallucinations will end up either seeing a loved one dead, hearing them, or even just feeling their presence in the room with them. Was Jesus and Peter, were they close?
Yeah.
Would you say that Jesus was an attachment figure for Peter and that he loved Jesus?
Peter loved Jesus.
All right.
He denied him 3 times.
Well, I don't believe that's true, but anyways, what is to
You don't believe he denied him 3 times?
Let's not get into that. So, what is to say that Peter didn't just have a bereavement hallucination?
Well, why would you believe he did?
It's more likely than magic.
He had the hallucination where he saw a vision where the different foods came down, and then he said all foods were clean? That was
Sounds
in
like this.
Acts. So there was
Sounds
Acts.
like that. Sounds like this person has a history of seeing things that aren't there.
I mean, do you have any other idea to believe that he hallucinated Jesus?
It's more likely
Because
than
he was
magic.
with John.
No, he wasn't.
Well, him and John ran back to the tomb.
Oh, I don't believe the Gospels, the resurrection accounts. I'm just talking about what Paul reports to us. I don't believe for a moment that anything that Peter and them do in the Gospels are factual, because the Gospels aren't reliable.
So then, what are you looking for? You're saying you don't believe the Gospels, but you want me to guess that Peter was hallucinating based off of Paul's letters.
Not guess. Paul tells us that Jesus appeared to Peter. We have recorded experiences where people have the same exact thing happen to them, and it's always a hallucination. And the question is, what's more likely to be true? A hallucination, which we have tons of recorded examples of, or magic?
So you believe that Peter had a hallucination based on what Paul wrote, and that's a reliable source for you, but the Gospels aren't.
Yeah, because we don't even know who wrote the Gospels, as opposed to Paul's letters. Paul's just reporting what he heard, that Jesus appeared to Peter. But we don't even know who wrote the Gospels, and they contradict each other on the birth, the death, and the resurrection.
How would he know about Peter? How would Paul know about Peter?
Paul knew Peter.
Okay, so Peter must have been a real person.
Yeah, I'm not denying that Peter was a real person. Peter was a real guy who grieved the death of his late rabbi, and then hallucinated him after his death.
And so Peter knew Jesus, and Jesus was a real person.
Yeah, Jesus was a real person. You don't generally in bereavement hallucinations, when people hallucinate their dead loved ones are always people that really existed.
And do you believe John was a real person?
There was a John that was a real person. I don't know if it was John the son of Zebedee.
The disciple. That disciple. Okay, so John might not have been, but Peter was, and Paul knew him. Which you
Paul writes
believe
about him. Yeah, Paul is a named person. He names himself in his own works. It's a letter written by Paul. He signs it. We don't have any signatures for the Gospels. And all he tells us that Jesus appeared to Peter. That's either Paul just saying something that wasn't true, or he's just relating that Peter expressed to him that Jesus appeared to him, in which case we have naturalistic explanations for how that's possible without a resurrection.
And then who do you believe wrote John?
We don't know who wrote John. We don't know who wrote any of the Gospels.
Who do you believe wrote John? Like, what's your personal belief as a supposed expert?
My personal belief is we don't know who wrote the Gospel of John.
So as an expert, you're clueless. Okay.
Yeah, because we don't have any reason to think that we don't know who wrote the Gospels. Why would I?
So
wait.
Why do you?
This is very telling. By the way, this is very telling coming from a Christian. You seem to be baffled by the idea that if I don't know something, that I say I don't know. Instead, you seem to think that I should just come up with an answer, which might work in Christian circles. Like in Christianity, if you don't know something, just make shit up. But for the rest of us who are like humble enough to acknowledge when we don't fucking know something, we'll say, yeah, we don't have any evidence to suggest that we know who wrote any of the Gospels. Like, we don't know. And I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer, one that Christians need to get more comfortable with saying.
So why do you call yourself the Bible guy? Doesn't that
because I know more
that you're an expert?
because I know more about the Bible than you do. I didn't.
But you just said all this stuff. I don't know. So you said you're comfortable like you don't know, but now you want to pretend like you know the Bible better than me.
I do know the Bible better than you, because unlike you, I know that the Gospels are anonymous works. You don't seem to know that. You seem to think that the Gospels are written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, even though our oldest manuscript, for example, the Gospel of Matthew, doesn't even have a title on it. And we don't have any title, and we don't have any attribution to authors until around the late 2nd century CE. Yes, I know the Bible better than you, which is why I'm able to say we don't know who wrote the Gospels.
Okay, so it's just confusing when you call yourself the Bible guy, act like an expert, and then go back to I don't know.
Yes, experts say I don't know all the time, Aiden. When an expert comes across data that is insufficient to come to a conclusion, the expert will say, I don't know. Like, for example,
Okay.
what experts in the field of physics will say, what happened prior to the moment of expansion in the Big Bang? We'll say, I don't know. For example, I have a physicist here, Quantonaut. When you come across something that you don't have an answer to in your field, do you just make up an answer, or do you say I don't know, even though you're an expert?
I say I don't know. In fact, this is why we have experts to begin with, right? Because there's always going to be a limitation to our knowledge, and experts are the people who are like on the edge of that knowledge, trying to expand it where possible, but admitting that there is insufficient evidence where there isn't.
So let's say, Quantonaut, that we have two people here. We have you, who's the expert, and we have someone who doesn't know very much about physics. The person who doesn't know very much about physics will just make a claim about where the universe came from. And you, as the expert, will say, I don't know because I don't have sufficient answer. You still know more about physics than they do, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, admitting, like, the fact that I know what I don't know is part of what makes me the expert.
Aiden says, the Bible guy just doesn't know who wrote John. Aiden, neither do you. What is the evidence that the author of the Gospel of John is John, the son of Zebedee?
Well, I just don't call myself the Bible guy because I don't have the same sense of pride that you do.
Aiden, it's not pride. It's been demonstrated time and time again on these lives. Like right now, it's been demonstrated that I know more about the Bible than you do. You weren't even aware of the fact that the Gospels were anonymous. You believed, as the simpleton that you are, that the Gospels were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John with no good reason. You just what you've been told. I actually know this. I actually know that. Yes, that's right. Call me Bible guy because I know because I know the Bible better than you, Aiden. I've already said it 3 times.
Knowing more doesn't mean knowing all.
Yeah. I know more than you about the Bible. I don't know everything about. Good to see you too, Quantonaut. I don't know everything about the Bible, but I know a fuck ton more than you do, Aiden. Also, I'm just going to mute you in the comment section so that you're only talking to me. You're not talking to the audience. Yeah, no, I know a fuck ton more about the Bible than you do, Aiden. And as a result, I can say, because I'm humble and I actually know the data, we don't know who wrote the Gospels. That's what an expert in the field of biblical scholarship would say, Aiden.
Yeah, the guy who calls himself the Bible guy sounds very humble. Okay.
Yeah,
you don't sound humble.
I mean, I call myself a physicist, but like,
yes, as a person who's humble, I'm willing to say I don't know when I don't know. You, however, you are far too arrogant, undeserved arrogance, by the way, where you will just say I know who wrote the gospel with no good reason. I will say we don't know who wrote the Gospels because we have no good reason to think we know who wrote the Gospels. But I still know tons more about the Bible than you do. Absolutely.
This reminds me of a great quote. This reminds me of a great quote, which is, I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that cannot be questioned.
Oof, that's good. So Aiden, instead of like embarrassing yourself over and over and over again, and repeating the same line over and over again, which is incredibly boring, can you provide any good reason to think that your Jesus isn't a corpse? Because we're all getting bored of it.
Yeah, I can definitely provide a lot to the Bible guy, but you have to, kind of listen more than someone with your attitude who thinks you have so much to teach. But what would count as evidence to you? I mean, what would count as evidence to you?
Anything that raises the probability that Jesus isn't dead.
So, like, where do you put the probability based on, like, what is good evidence for you?
Anything that is demonstrable, that doesn't require something like subjective, like that's personal experience is not good. Something that I can go and independently verify.
So, what can't you independently verify?
I can't independently verify that the Gospels are written by anyone we know because we have no evidence for that. So Are you just wanting me to do your homework for you?
I mean,
Is that what's going on here?
why do you think that? Why do you think John is not written by John?
Because the author of the Gospel of John never claims to be the Apostle John.
Why do you believe that?
Because I've read the Gospel of John and it never once claims to be John.
Okay. And
you
what
show
about the
me-
parts where it does?
Can you show me where in the Gospel of John it says, I, John, the son of Zebedee, am writing this gospel, or where any at all ever the Gospel of John ever refers to the author as John?
Like, this is the disciple at the end.
Wow, there's lots of disciples. Does it ever tell us what the name of the disciple is?
Well, I mean, you can narrow it down. Which other disciple could it be?
Literally any of them. It's called the disciple that Jesus loved. Did Jesus only love one disciple?
No, but that's what he called himself.
Okay. I'm sure lots of Christians refer to themselves as the
Talk
disciple
about
that
it.
Jesus loves.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
ego.
we've already narrowed it down
Yeah.
to 12 people.
No, we didn't narrow it down to 12 people. Jesus had more than 12 disciples. Jesus had, according to the Gospel of Luke, up to 70 disciples. It could be any one of them.
Okay, so 70. Still narrowed it down.
Okay. Who is it? Where does the Gospel of John ever tell us the name of the apostle?
Good, a question. Good, it's a question. So the disciple is John.
Okay, that's a nice claim. What is the evidence?
It's in the book of John.
Okay, where? Where does the book of John say that the disciple is John?
Would have to go and study it. You'd have to go read it. Probably take off your Bible guy hat and be more
not
of
wearing a
a
hat.
student.
So I didn't. Does the Gospel of John
The
not claim to be
proverbial
written
hat.
not claim to be written by a multiplicity of people?
No, it's written by John.
So the Gospel of John never refers to the author as we, as in we believe him.
Yeah, at the end it says this is why we believe him.
Oh, who's the we?
The we are
Who's
the
right?
people who are the believers he's talking about.
He's talking about what he's talking on behalf of someone else. It sounds like someone's referring to themselves. We believe his testimony. There's a group of people writing who say, and we believe his
Group
testimony.
of people believe his testimony. So he's talking on behalf of the group of people who believe his
Or
testimony.
is it just a group of people who are writing down the testimony of a disciple of Jesus?
And that disciple is John.
What's the evidence?
I mean, you're starting to ask questions, and then you go back to your own conclusions.
No,
and you put
no,
on
it's
your
not. It's
Bible
not.
guy
It's not a. It's, I haven't reached. It's not a conclusion. I'm asking a question. Where does the Gospel of John state that it's John?
Here's
I
a
told
different way
you.
to phrase it. If you were never told that John wrote it, how would you come to that conclusion? Like,
Start-
if you had to
you
be the
start reading at the
investigator to figure
beginning.
out who wrote it, what evidence would you take into account to come to that conclusion?
Okay,
You
what
start reading at
information?
where they all meet.
All right, in the early parts of the book, where does it ever say it's John?
He talks about John the Baptist, and then the two disciples of John.
Okay, John was a Jewish teacher in the first century. Had lots of students, probably.
Yeah. So
So
these are how you put
So
it
what's
together.
what's the evidence that it was John the son of Zebedee? What's the evidence that John the son of Zebedee was a disciple of John the Baptist?
Because they say James and John were the first after Simon and his brother Andrew.
No, but where does it
So
ever
Simon,
say
Peter,
that?
and Andrew.
No. Where does it say
Philip,
that John was
and
the
then
son of
Philip
Zebedee?
told.
No, I'll ask you again. Where does it say that John the son of Zebedee was a disciple of John the Baptist? I know, guys, this is embarrassing, but let's just go through it a little bit.
That's in the Gospel of John.
Where does it say that?
You
and
have to know the
where,
Gospel of John.
where does it say John the son of Zebedee was a disciple of John the Baptist?
That's at the beginning of John.
Where?
And it's in
where? Chapter, verse.
all the Gospels.
Chapter, verse.
You have to look it up. You're the Bible guy.
No,
Look
you're
it
the
up.
one making. No, I'm not doing your
You
homework for
already,
you.
you already know about it.
You're the one making the claim, so you're the one who has to provide the evidence. I'm not doing your
Yeah.
homework for you, and also, I can just go ahead and tell you it doesn't say that. There you go. But if you think it does, provide us the chapter and verse that says that John, the son of Zebedee, by name, calls him by name was a disciple of John the Baptist. Otherwise, we're all just going to think that you're just making shit up.
That's your homework for you.
No, I've already
It's
done
in
the
there.
homework. It's not. Provide the evidence, or I'm not going to believe you. None of us are going to believe you.
But you gave yourself the title the Bible guy too, so you obviously
Yeah,
haven't done the homework.
Which is why I know that it never says John the son of Zebedee was the disciple of John the Baptist. You're just making shit up. It's embarrassing, Aiden.
You already said you didn't know who
Just
wrote John, and you asked me.
We don't.
So
we
you're
don't
coming
know.
to me as a student,
Yeah, we
pretending
don't know
like
who
you're a
wrote.
teacher.
Yeah. So far, my teacher sucks ass because my teacher doesn't seem to know anything about the Gospel of John. Like my teacher just keeps making claims without providing any evidence of those claims. Like if I was paying for this class, I would demand a refund because I haven't learned jack shit from you. So, what is the evidence, teacher? Come on.
You have to be humbler to be a student.
I'm as humble as I'm as humble as it's gonna get on this live. I ain't getting any more humbler than you because if anything, you're giving me more and more reason to believe that I shouldn't be humble in this matter. So, Aiden.
And you won't get there if you can't humble yourself.
I won't get there unless you provide evidence. Are you okay? Yes or no? Are you willing to provide exact evidence from the Gospel of John that John, the son of Zebedee, was a disciple of John the Baptist? Either yes or no. If you're not willing to provide me the book and the chapter and verse to prove your point, I'm just going to assume that you don't know the answer, and we're all going to assume that.
Okay. I already told you I'll do it if you humble yourself, but that's my condition. So maybe next time.
I think that you're just saying that because you can't provide evidence, and you're just trying to Aaron.
Man.
I didn't, Aaron.
How's it going?
Let's see. It's going really good. I didn't get to go live yesterday because of a storm, and we were going to do a special Valentine's Day related episode, but here we are. Aaron doesn't know jack shit about the Bible. I'll just leave it at that. There we go. All right, we're gonna read some super chats and then we'll get on to the next guest. Oh, embarrassing. Okay, let's see.
At Herbie Shine with the 10 pounds. I was very confused this morning when I woke and couldn't remember watching you last night. Then I could remember if it had been just a night. I'm going to entirely blame you and not my old man brain.
Well, in this case, you can blame me. I wasn't able to go live yesterday, Herbie, because there was a storm that hit where I live, and which my internet took a fucking beating as a result of the storm. Let me take a look at I posted it on the Discord, so everyone, if you want to keep up with me and stuff like that, make sure to join the Discord. My internet was, let's take a look. My download speed was 15 megabytes per second, and my upload speed was 8. That's what I get for living out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, right? But if you want to see us move into the city and get better Wi-Fi, make sure to send your super chats. Every super chat helps to raise the money for me to get the apartment, or just like PayPal, Cash App, whatever you guys want to do. No pressure, of course. But we're trying to get out of this house and into the city and get some better internet. So, yeah, thank you for the cowboy hat. And then
at Herbie Shine once more with the 5 pounds. Wait, what? Wait, Jesus is dead? No one told me. When did this happen? Was he sick? You could have broken it to me a bit more gently. This caller.
He was a whiner, 100%. That caller, whether or not you're referring to Aiden or the one before, both were very whiny today for sure. And then
at Steve Gear with the $5 is a fuck ton bigger or smaller than a half ton. Just curious.
I would say, in my humble opinion, that fuck ton is bigger than a half ton. What do you think, Quantanut?
Oh yeah, I'd even go as far to say it's bigger than just a regular metric ton in general.
Yeah, I agree. Fuck ton bigger than a ton. That's why we say fucking ban. Um, all right, we're gonna bring up Prook. Prook, we already know that you're over
Yo,
18, and that you think Jesus is not dead. And what pronouns do you go by?
he, him.
All right, Prook, welcome back to the Bible Guy Live. Tell me, I think Jesus is dead. Why should I think otherwise?
Yeah, so I'm still looking into this one aspect of it. It's that Paul, did he believe that Jesus bodily resurrected, or he didn't bodily resurrect? Um and from
Depends
what
on
I understand, yeah, go
depends on what
ahead.
you mean. Depends on what you mean by bodily, because Paul would have thought Jesus had a body. It just wasn't the same body. It was a body, a spirit body.
Right, right. And so would you acknowledge that, I guess so from what I understand, there's other views of this. Is that wrong? Like Paul is arguably saying that Jesus resurrected in, like when he resurrected, he had a body like that they could see and see that he was bodily. Okay. Anyways, I don't think that's that important. So I'll just say this. I have a point to make here, and I want to see how you would respond to it. Would you agree that if you had a hallucination of a loved one, you wouldn't, in the vast majority of cases, say that they have resurrected? That's just very unlikely a conclusion you'd come by if you had a hallucination of a loved one.
Me, yes, but only because I don't have resurrection as part of my like cultural expectation. Like people in the modern day America, they don't, when they think about dead loved ones coming back, a lot of Christians aren't even aware of the concept of like the resurrection of the dead as a en mass. They're aware of people, their spirits go to heaven and then they can appear to them. And that's just our culture. Within the culture of first century Jews, there's an expectation of the resurrection of the dead. Now, if Peter sees Jesus, he has one of two options. Either he can think Jesus is dead, which just only like pushes further that God like had abandoned him on the cross, or through cognitive dissonance, if he really thinks that his dead rabbi was in fact the Messiah, and he wants to vindicate him, he can say, "Oh, hey, we have an expectation that at the coming of the time of the Messiah, there's a resurrection of the dead. I really believe that my guy was the Messiah. God vindicated him. He's resurrected from the dead. So it's allowed under Peter's worldview because he has an expectation for the resurrection of the dead. We don't really have that in our modern culture all that much.
That's fair, but his expectation was that everybody would be raised, right? Not just Jesus. So are you saying that if they had some vision of Jesus, they would just say like the resurrection has began, and just from that say that Jesus resurrected? Is that kind of what your view is?
I mean, Paul says explicitly in his own works that Jesus is the first fruits of the resurrection.
Right.
They could just think that, well, Jesus is just the first one, and the rest of us get resurrected, at his return, which they thought was imminent. So I mean, even if it's even possible that they're reading Daniel chapter 12, and they see Michael, who in the last days raises up, and then the rest of the people resurrect from the dead, and they could possibly even interpret that as Messiah raised from the dead, followed by mass resurrection. So there's nothing to stop Peter from thinking, oh, Jesus is resurrected from the dead, and he's vindicated by God, and he's just the first of many to come.
Right. But like if they're in Sheol, so my thing is, right, why wouldn't they just say Jesus in Sheol? Everybody's gonna be raised like at the same time. Like Messiah is gonna be raised alongside everyone else.
Oh,
And
that's not the eschatology
Yep.
they had in the first century CE. They didn't think everyone went to Sheol in the first century. Um, while ancient Israelites thought all the dead, unilaterally all went to the dark, dreary Sheol. In the first century, the idea is that the righteous were brought up to the third heaven, which is where paradise is located. There's 7
Mhm.
heavens, 7 concentric spheres of the heavens, and the third heaven is where paradise is located.
Right. So then why wouldn't they assume that Jesus is in the third heaven?
Right, because then it would be that Jesus really did die and that God left him dead, and it cognitive dissonance. If I think my guy's the Messiah,
Okay, I see.
and if I'm seeing him alive, it's because God raised him. It's the same reason why some members of Chabad Lubavitch they think that they don't think that they're seeing. They have hallucinations where they think they see or even hear or sometimes just feel the presence of their dead Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, and they think that he's still alive, not that he's a spirit, because one is more glorious than the other. One means that this person died and God allowed them to stay dead, and but one vindicates their message, being resurrection.
Okay. So okay, and so if he was in heaven, it's not like he could be resurrected at the end of the world. He would just be dead, right? He's not going to be resurrected again to life because
What?
I guess he's in heaven. So if he's in heaven, he can't be resurrected at the end of the world.
No, he can. They just would think he's
Okay,
resurrected now
so
because they're seeing him.
that
They think now is the time of the Messianic. They thought that they were living in the Messianic age. Like they thought that now is the time that God's kingdom is going to be ushered in. So when they see their dead rabbi, or when Peter sees his dead rabbi, he's going to think, now is the time. It's beginning.
yeah, I see where you're coming from. I don't know if I completely agree, but I mean, it's sound reasoning, I would say. I think it's not like bulletproof, but see where you're coming from, because I guess that's all I had to say. I had a few questions about that. I think you answered that pretty well, so I don't have much to say to that.
Well,
I guess I just disagree in some stuff.
you
Yeah.
you get the reward for best caller of the day so far. By the way, get other Christians. Notice how I didn't have to once mute Prook, not once, because like this is how you have a cordial and respectful dialogue. Me like W respectful guest, exactly. Yeah. So Prook, thank you for being the first good guest of the day. Hopefully we'll get more like you.
Yeah, hopefully I'll check it out. Hopefully there's some people that give some good arguments, but all right, I'll see you soon.
See you, bud. All right. See, isn't that nice? Ray says, by the way, Ray, don't write in all capital letters, or else you'll be muted. We have a strict rule: no spamming the same thing over and over again. No writing in all capital letters, or else my mods will mute you. Also, Ichthyist, who is spamming the chat right now? I wasn't paying attention. You need a temporary mod. Oh, Lathe of Heaven. I'll go ahead and make you a mod because you're like someone I know. And let's see, add moderator. Are you a mod, Quantanaut?
I don't know, but I don't normally act as a mod. I don't know the controls that well.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Unless
Lathe of
I'm on
Heaven,
like, TikTok Live.
there
The
you go.
studio, I mean.
Yeah, Lathe of Heaven. There you go. So just the simple rules. People who write in all caps, give them a warning if they continue to do it. Mute them. If they just type the same thing over and over again, mute them. If they use slurs against other people or just slurs in general, mute them. Those are the only things I really, need modders to mute people for. All right. Are you wearing lipstick? No, I just have chapped lips, and my lips are also very kissable. Mwah. All right. We're going to bring up the next guest, Jose Chavez. Jose,
Hello.
I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potato of the conversation. So, question number 1:
Alrighty.
Are you at least 18?
Yep.
Question number 2: What pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
All right, and then question number 3: Is Jesus dead?
Jesus is not dead.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I think Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
Sorry, what did you say? You said you're not the Bible guy?
I said I am the Bible guy. I'm the Bible guy.
Oh, okay.
Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
Oh, well, I guess I hopped on mostly to hear your point. I would hold to the traditions that the Gospels that would agree, and the writings of Paul that agree that he is alive. So, I guess what's your response to that?
I've never been given a good reason to think Jesus is alive, so I just hold to the default position that he's dead.
So, what's your? I guess. Sorry, is there too much background noise? Let me pause that. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess what's exactly your reasoning for that he is dead?
That I've never been given a good reason to think he's not dead.
It's just like the null hypothesis. It's the default take that you should have
Right.
until you
Yeah, it's
see
illogical
evidence to
when
the
someone
contrary.
dies, they're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that kind of assumes that you don't accept the historicity or the manuscripts that compile what we know as the Gospels.
No, I don't believe the Gospels are reliable. We don't know who wrote them, and they contain a lot of contradictions between them. Like, they can't agree about the facts regarding Jesus's birth, like, at all. And then they can't agree as to what the facts surrounding Jesus' death and resurrection.
I heard that claim. I've heard. I think it's valid, obviously, in its own respect. But a counter that I've also heard that I want to present is okay. I guess one one instance of contradictions would be the actual resurrection claim, whether how many women or which women witnessed it. And I've heard that despite all these differences in I guess claims of the resurrection, they all point to the ultimate thing, which is that he resurrected. And for documents that were compiled in the early century, I think canonized in the second. Exactly. In the late first century, around the year 70 to 100 something. I think they all hold a certain sense of truth when it comes to depicting pretty much what the world will tell you. Well, at least half the world will tell you that the most awesome guy to ever live. So when it comes, for example, let's consider Julius Caesar the most awesome guy to ever live. I think roughly we have 10 manuscripts of his existence, but if all these manuscripts agree to like one common theme, that say Julius Caesar is like a divine god, or like that's been made about hundreds of people in the past, but it all comes down to historical evidence. So if we only have 10 manuscripts that point to his existence, even less we would have that point to his existence as a divine being. So when we have the manuscripts about Jesus and the apostles and whatnot, we have basically not proof but evidence that this
Jose,
person who is regarded as go ahead.
the number of manuscripts doesn't matter, right? Like, if I write something that's not true, and then someone is duped into believing in it,
I mean,
and then
sure,
they copy it a whole lot. It doesn't matter if there's 10,000, 50,000, or a million copies. It doesn't make it more true.
Right. You could take that position, whereas I'd offer a counter. You could take that position where if we're absolute about the things that we believe, if we hold to an absolute standard, essentially we don't believe in anything because we have nothing that could give us anything that is absolute. Even science, the fact that the sun is going to rise up again tomorrow. We have gravity, we have quantum mechanics. We have all this stuff.
Why do you think that the sun will rise tomorrow?
Absolute as in unchanging and known
because a
throughout.
bunch of people say so.
Yeah, Jose, 1 second. Quantonaut is actual physicist. Let him respond to this. Go ahead, Quantonaut.
Yeah, I was just saying that the reason why we think that the sun will rise tomorrow isn't because that we have a lot of documents saying that it will. It's because we've done the experiments and observations and taken data.
I'm not trying to say all the reasoning. Go ahead. I want to let you finish.
Quantonaut wasn't done.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
We've gathered enough evidence empirically, and evidence that you could in theory go out and gather yourself, that validate models that tell us how the Earth revolves around the sun and so on. That's why we believe that the sun will rise tomorrow, not just because a lot of people said so.
No. I mean, I guess if we're trying to be adopt this absolute lens about it, then
don't. It's not.
absolutely we know that.
What? We don't have an absolute. We don't have absolutes. There's nothing absolute in life.
No, we
The
do
only
not. Yeah, no, we don't. We don't.
we
We
just
have our best
we
comprehension of what is absolute.
based on we have a high degree of confidence that something is true based on
Yeah.
the evidence. But the evidence in
Right.
favor of
Yeah.
the resurrection is Jesus appeared to people, according to Paul, and then which is totally explainable through naturalistic phenomenon, and then a couple of decades later, we got these myths that surround that were created about Jesus by unknown authors.
Right.
As a
Right.
general rule, when it comes to addressing or assessing very large claims like this, and I use the same standard when it comes to like claims of alien UFO sightings or the supernatural
Yeah.
paranormal stuff like that. You always have to ask yourself one question: is there a mundane explanation that is possible?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
so, then that is the likely explanation.
I
And
think
if
I
not,
have
then
one.
you have to go to the next most mundane explanation and see if you can
Sure.
prove that
Sure.
wrong.
I
If
think
you
I
can't,
have
then you just keep
one
working down the
explanation.
list until you get to finally the most mundane explanation that cannot be proven wrong, and that is your working theory.
Yeah, that's exactly where I think faith comes in, because obviously if I give you the most mundane explanation, what would be requirements to believing that would be essentially faith. And let me give you an example. Like
Well,
we have all these things that are translated or copied, by
well, Jose,
generations of men.
here's the
Okay,
problem.
go ahead.
I'm an individual who wants to believe as many true things as possible. I want to believe truth, which is that which comports to reality. Do you
Yeah.
think faith is a good mechanism for getting to the truth?
No. That's you're like, no, not at all. Because I mean, obviously, I could give you so many examples where people had faith, like fake prophets in the last century, or the Crusaders. For example, like obviously, when you have what we regard as the Holy Spirit, it doesn't mean It doesn't mean that you have it because you know you have it. It means you have it because God has willed it for you to have it. So when people have this fallacy where and I argue that all men are fallible. All men are fallible. Every man has been subject to this degree of fallacy that it comes to your own beliefs. So and I'm trying to say, just because you believe you're a messenger by God means you're not, because I guess that kind of that also means you're abusing the truth in my claim.
Does this include Paul and Peter in them? Are they also fallible?
No, I didn't say fallible. Yeah, I did say fallible. So when it comes to those specific instances, my argument is that they're fallible. They take on flesh. They're sons of Adam. They are men, and because of that nature, they are fallible. If they want to produce something that is infallible, they need something that in itself is infallible, such as the Holy Spirit of God. But obviously we could contend about contend about that, because there's so many examples when people claim the Holy Spirit and they don't have it.
Do you believe in free will?
Yes.
Do you think that God is able to override people's free will?
Yeah.
So you just believe that God overrode the free will of the New Testament authors to make them say things that were true, even though they're fallible?
When it comes to, I guess, producing infallible scriptures, you mean?
So you think the Bible's infallible? It has no errors whatsoever?
No. I'm quite the contrary to that.
So the Bible is fallible.
I think
So how do we know? So how do we know what's true about it and what's not?
that's if I'm being honest, me myself, I have a lot of diving into theology and scriptures that I have to go through. But if I'm if I'm embracing the heretic that I am deep down, I would tell you, as far as my knowledge goes, I think men are fallible, and because of that, men cannot produce infallible. Whether the Bible is fallible or infallible is not a question for man. It's a question for I guess the infallible, and what we know, and that's kind of like a backwards kind of theory, because we know that men
sadly, God has never returned any of my calls, so I can't exactly question him on this. All I have are people. And when I look at
I do have a more general question.
That's funny.
how do we come to learn true things about the world? Like, what method should we use to learn things about the world?
Yeah. I get that's it's a little paradoxical.
Well, it's a question.
Sorry,
I'm asking
paradox.
you, like, when you want to go out and learn something new
Yeah.
about the world, is there a specific method that you follow?
Yeah. So that's I
What
guess
is that
why
method?
it's the same thing. It's a little paradoxical because the method, I guess the standard that I hold for truth is what I believe is embodied in Jesus Christ. So whatever
No, I'm
I
not asking about religion specifically. I'm
Okay.
asking just in general when you want to learn something
I
new
guess
about
that
the
is
world.
I'm sorry. I guess that is my general response. Like it's whatever Jesus embodies and whatever he says, that's truth to me. But I don't want to be an
So you
asshole.
don't
I don't
learn
want
anything new unless
Wait.
Jesus explicitly says so?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be an asshole and just be like contrary to
Jose.
your argument. 'Cause I want to hear out your argument, and I don't think I'm understanding it.
You think everything Jesus says is true no matter what, and that's how you determine what is true.
Well,
I think
I think
everything
there's
that
a
Jesus
worse problem with
is.
that
Yeah, we have we as men
you're
are
just
fallible.
limited
We
to
have
what you think he said. Like you can't learn about like the
yeah.
Pythagorean theorem
That's why.
because
That's
he
why.
never talked
That's why I
about
called
that.
out. No, that's what. Well, no,
But-
not necessarily.
but-
I mean, that's a separate
no.
So,
thing.
so
but,
that's my question. How do you learn new things?
Yeah.
Well, because we as men, we have, as I've argued, we're fallible men, and even the things that we know that Jesus said, those are things that were passed on. Even like, for example,
no,
like,
Jose, we're not talking about things you just said, like the Pythagorean theorem. How do you can you
Oh,
come
sorry,
to
hold on,
the
give me a
knowledge
second.
can you come to the knowledge that the Pythagorean theorem is true? Because Jesus doesn't say anything about it, the Bible doesn't say anything about it. So can you come to the knowledge?
Maybe
that
it's not a
that this
good
is true?
example. Maybe like let's say the fact that Mars exists, because Jesus never talked about the planet Mars.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess
Something natural about our world.
Yeah. We're touching, I guess, more scientific knowledges. I guess
Well, I'm just
natural
talking about
knowledge.
knowledge
that,
about the world in general. Not
right. No, I'm not
necessarily
saying
scientific.
that you know that water is water because Jesus said so. In fact, the contrary, Jesus said that he made water into wine. So it's like, I'm not talking about literal truth. I'm talking about a more metaphorical, spiritual, moral, objective truth that is
See,
not.
this is why I asked
necessarily-
this question, because there's
Okay,
only
go
really
ahead.
one kind of truth.
Yeah.
Things are
Absolutely.
either true or they are not.
There's no such
I
thing
hold that
as
the
there's
one truth
there's
is
no
absolute.
such there's no such thing as spiritual and metaphysical. Truth is simply that which comports to reality. Either the thing you say comports to reality or it doesn't. Like for example, is
Okay,
the
well, then
mustard is the mustard seed really the smallest of all seeds? That's what Jesus said.
Well, you're taking literal. That's because we're humans, right? We take truth as whatever is literal to our reality.
Then guess
And
what?
I'm not-
Jesus.
and I'm
Then guess
not
what?
arguing- I'm
If
not
we're just
disagreeing with you on
then
that.
guess what? Jesus didn't literally resurrect from the dead. He's only spiritually dead, and he's very much physically still dead. He never rose from the dead. He's a corpse, and spiritually resurrect from the dead just has some deeper spiritual meaning to it. We can just do that.
Sure, you could argue that Jesus is still alive, not in the literal sense, and I wouldn't even argue against it because
Yeah, he's alive in
that-
our
that-
hearts,
that's
but
not
he's
fair.
actually dead.
you could argue that,
Isn't
but
that a
I mean,
heresy?
that's
is.
definitely a heresy. I'm not.
So
I'm not
you're
trying to
so-
be the asshole and try to say you're wrong. That's
so-
heresy. I'm trying to.
So in other words,
respect
you're
your belief.
conceding. You're conceding.
No, not at all. I'm trying to tell you that you have your way of
Wait,
interpreting.
no,
We're
Jesus.
specifically asking about like if Jesus actually literally truly rose from the dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess I
want to
kinda
know.
missed that
I
in the
want to
beginning
know.
when
I want to know if that's a true thing about the world or if it's not true.
In the same
I
way
think
that
it's a true
Mars is
thing
a
about the
planet,
world.
did he rise from the dead?
Yeah, I would hold that belief, of course.
Okay, why?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, you could argue, I guess, the literal aspects of it, but what exactly are you trying to pinpoint?
Like I'm trying.
I don't know
what
how to
I'm
make
trying
it more
pinpoint. Yeah, what we're trying to pinpoint is what
Well, you guys
evidence
just
do you
made the
have
distinction that he's
that
alive.
what evidence do you have that Jesus isn't worm food?
I can tell you why we know that Mars is a planet. I can show you the evidence and like what you
Yeah,
can
okay,
do
guys,
yourself
you guys
to
are
make
bringing
that
up
observation.
natural facts that we hold truth based off our belief and knowledge. And when you're bringing up how do you know Jesus is alive, even though you just distinguish that Jesus is alive spiritually, but yet you're still negating that he's alive, it kind of tells me more that you guys are
I was-
holding your
I-
hearts
I
that
was
You
being-
just said
I
that
was-
you thought he
I was-
literally
wait,
actually rose from the
when
dead.
when I said Jesus was alive spiritually, I was being facetious. I don't think Jesus is alive in any sense because spiritual is
okay,
a meaning.
okay, then
is a,
I
is a,
accept that.
is a
I accept
spiritual
that distinction.
spiritual is
Only
a
in the
spiritual
imagination
is
of
a,
humans.
yeah, spiritual is a meaningless phrase. It doesn't mean anything. Jesus is dead in every real way possible. Do you have
I guess
any good
fundamentally
reason
that'd be our
for me to
differences because
Yes, of course, that's our
'cause I
difference.
guess,
The question is, what can you
yeah.
say to prove that I should believe Jesus is alive?
yeah.
You're being too. You're
Well,
being.
if I'm
far-
trying to
you're
prove,
being.
if I'm
You're
trying
being.
to prove
You're being.
Jesus,
You're being.
if you're,
You're being.
when you're frame,
Okay, Jose.
sorry,
Jose,
we're
stop
talking over
talking.
each other. Go ahead and finish.
Jose, you're being too wishy-washy. I need you to lock down. I need you to give me evidence that
yeah,
you're
okay,
that
I
you're
got you.
that Jesus isn't a
I
corpse.
can't do that. Oh well, I can give you the. So that's the thing. So that's the main distinction I'm trying to make. I'll make one point, and then I'll make the second one as to answer your question finally. So the first point is that you have this lens of trying to accept Jesus as a literal physical thing, and I argue that he is. I can't give you the evidence for it, but even if you've already acknowledged that Jesus can exist as this spiritual
I don't.
reincarnated
I don't.
eternal
I
nature.
don't.
I don't believe in
Yeah,
spiritual.
I
Spiritual's
can't give you. I
spiritual-
can't give you the,
spiritual-
the physical
spiritual-
evidence. No.
Spiritual is a nonsense word. So okay, you're conceding that you can't prove Jesus is not dead.
I'm conceding the literal evidence that I can't provide the literal evidence, but I am reinstating the evidence that I hold
So why do you
spiritual
believe it
nature
literally if you
over
can't
physical
demonstrate it
nature.
literally?
So when you talk about spiritual being not as good as physical,
No,
to me
I-
that's just like, okay, well I guess we're just two different worlds because I hold.
You don't care about what's true.
The
That's
thing is that
that's
you
the
already
problem.
said that you do believe that he literally rose from the dead. So we're asking, like, what is that literal evidence that led you to that conclusion?
I'm not
Because you probably
convinced.
shouldn't have beliefs that don't have evidence for it, right? That would be like irresponsible.
Jose, I'm not convinced that you care about what's true. Like if you don't come to the conclusion that things are true based on actual evidence, then I'm just convinced that you don't really care about what's true. You care about what makes you feel good or what sounds nice. By the way, you need to unmute yourself. I'm not convinced though you actually care about what's true. Jose.
Oh, sorry, I think my mic cut out. I guess I was saying right before I think I got cut off is that if you want the absolute, I guess my absolute truth, I can't give you an absolute truth because I already hold the absolute truth.
I
to
didn't
be
ask for
something.
I didn't ask for absolute answers. I just asked for good evidence that raises the probability
Right.
that Jesus
Okay.
isn't a corpse.
I guess my straight answer to that would be the writings from the Gospels and Paul, and
But the
also
Gospels
the
are- but they're not
that-
they're
but that
unreliable.
just
But they're unreliable.
yeah, you're right. We could nitpick the manuscript evidence, but then also there's a big world behind the manuscript. There's people who are writing these things, and there's people who are following these things, and not just following it, they follow it to their deaths. And
Well, we don't
I'm
know
sure
that.
you've heard the claim. I'm sure you've heard the claim of
Jose.
people are dying
Jose.
of this thing.
Literally every religion.
Jose, first and foremost, one,
I'm hearing
we
you.
don't
I'm hearing you.
we don't know who wrote the Gospels. That is the consensus.
No, that's
of the
anonymous. That's
Yeah.
not even has to do
They're-
with anything that I brought up.
They're all anonymous. We don't know who wrote them. Secondly, we don't know that the disciples all went to their death believing in Jesus. Those are traditions that came about over 100 years.
No, yeah, I agree. I
After-
agree with
after-
you there. At least
So all we
9
have-
of them
all-
were traditions.
all-
3 of them were historically confirmed.
Yeah, so all we have is these anonymous works that contradict each other, make the claim that a man rose again from the dead, which is something we don't have any evidence for, and traditions about other people who died later. That's it. If this were any other religion, I'm sure this would not convince you of any proposition from said religion.
That's the thing. There's no really other religion that's faced persecution like this one. Like that's kind of
Islam-
what makes this one kind of like the
Islam-
underdog.
First and foremost,
Islam's not
First and
face-
foremost,
not face.
in America, Christians are privileged. First and foremost, Muslims in
Sure,
America.
yeah, in the modern age, 2,000 years later,
Muslims in
of course, our human reference is going to want
just a
to
couple,
make.
well, for the past 17 dominant religion in the West with the most power.
Sorry, you kind of cut out. It's probably Christianity.
Yeah, for the past 1700 years, Christianity has been the most powerful.
Can you hear me?
For the past 1700 years, Christianity has been the most powerful religion on the planet.
Out of it.
What?
Can
you hear me?
Internet's getting a little bit spotty.
Mine?
Okay, I'm sorry. You guys can kick me off if you want.
Yeah, yours, unfortunately.
Oh, it's my internet. Fuck me.
Oh, can you hear me fine, Quant?
I can hear you, Dalton. It's unfortunately.
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay,
him.
I thought it was me. It's all good. We'll wait on you.
I can
I think
hear
you're all
him.
good now.
Okay. Do you want to say that last point?
You're all good now.
I think I missed
There was
it.
just a spotty bit of internet.
Yeah. Christianity has been the most powerful religion for 1700 years in the West.
Right.
The only persecution
yeah, okay.
it had was some very minor persecution for the first couple hundred years, which, by the way, has been blown way out of proportion by Christian scholars.
No. Yeah. No, I'm
so
not
it's
saying that because you're hated, you're automatically right. In fact, when you're successful, you're only hated when you are successful. Who's gonna hate on you when you're poor, when you're starting your business? Doing the least of the bottom of the barrel from society. No one's gonna pay attention to you. Yet my argument is that Christians when they're at the bottom of the barrel, when they're in the first 100 years of starting the thing called Christianity, it wasn't called Christianity, it was just called the good way. But when they're in that age of starting a movement that pretty much, when they were starting that age that went against emperors, they went against divine names that emperors might have claimed, they are subject to it's pretty much common knowledge that they were subject to persecution by Rome, not
to the degree that Christian apologists would like to believe. Like, it wasn't as bad as all that. Did Christians face some amount of persecution in the first couple hundred years? Yeah, because it was an illegal religion. But then, literally,
there
just
you
a
go.
couple hundred
That's
years.
exactly what I'm saying.
But that doesn't tell us anything about whether or not Jesus is dead or alive.
No. We can go back to the first point, but my main point from Christianity being illegal yet persevering up 2,000 years later, my point was that how people are not stupid.
It's not Jose. It's not been persevering as if it's like this piece. It's like this. It's not like it's this plant that's barely receiving any nutrients.
Has a lot of evil behind it. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's power. Money has been the reason. The only reason Christianity is still around today is because powerful people
the things you're bringing up about Christianity that are exactly bad. They're evil because man has made it.
Jose, I don't give a shit about any of this. I've muted you. I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't give a shit about Christianity as a religion. The only thing I am interested in this conversation is whether or not we have good reason to think that Jesus is a corpse.
I just gave you good reason, but you're rejecting it because you don't want to believe that my points actually hold true.
The popularity of religion, or the fact that a religion continues to exist into the modern era, isn't evidence that the religion is true. If so, you're gonna have to tell me that Islam is true now. Islam has been going on strong, uninterrupted since its founding.
That's a whole unmuted session that we could have where if you let me offer these points, I think I can give you points that would be worth pointing out to, because I guess, can I ask you about your position? Are you an atheist, agnostic, Christian, Muslim, something like that?
I'm an atheist, but even if I believed in a God, I would still hold to the position that Jesus is dead.
Yeah, agnostic, and I could maybe your literal sense that he's dead, because it's all spiritualism. I could maybe you as a Christian have truths that aren't complete yet that maybe I hope Jesus Christ can reveal to you in some sort of completion ritual.
Jose, this conversation is.
It's going nowhere. I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's incredibly boring. You've provided us no good reason to think Jesus isn't a corpse, and all these other side issues are not important.
I guess I was trying to say that I was never going to be able to offer you the fullness of the evidence that I guess you're contending upon, but I guess I'm trying to offer evidence that would give reason to people who did believe that. And, I just hope, these reasons come to you in a way that are sufficient. So thanks for having me on, though. I really appreciate it. I'll give you guys a follow. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Have a good day, Jose.
Have a good one. Bye.
It's far too wishy-washy. Like, I don't like wishy-washy callers.
This is why we need to really hammer in like how the scientific method works in school.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got another super chat. Everyone, make sure you're sending in your super chats. This show cannot continue to exist without your donations.
Let's see. At John Klein with the $5. The Crusades were all about love.
Yeah, Quentin, I remember when the Crusades were, the Crusaders, they were lovingly chopping the head off of non-believers because they weren't Christian.
Yeah. If you've ever seen that one Team Fortress 2 bit with Pyro burning all the houses, but he in his mind it's all like flowers and rainbows.
Oh my gosh, the Crusaders were chopping off heads, and instead of like spurts of blood, it was like red rose petals or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just the love of Jesus.
All right. Gray Cat. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Faggot, 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 faggot,
No.
faggot, 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 faggot.
Also, Redhead is one of the mods is saying that you should check your DMs.
Yeah. Gray Cat. Do you feel good about yourself? By the way, I'm not dropping you yet. Everyone click on Gray Cat's profile and report them. Oh, he ran away. Well, you also his name. His name is Gray Cat, GreyCat, no space. Find their channel and report them. Yeah.
Also,
okay,
did you hear what I said?
DMs. Which DM? My Facebook DM?
Yeah,
Oh, Facebook.
one of your mods, Redhead, said that you should check.
Oh, you need your.
I don't know on which app, but
your heading needs to be moved a little to the right. Wait a minute. Is it for you? For her, it seems like the title is a little bit this way to the left.
It's still fully readable to me, but maybe my phone has a slightly different aspect ratio.
Here, one second. Let me see my background. Unlock. Okay, let's see. If I move it, is this better?
To me, now looks too much on the other side.
Jesus.
But
Christ.
maybe my phone's weird.
I'm just trying to barely move it. Okay, come on. How's this?
See, that looks centered to me, but again, I might be the weird one here.
2High420 says we can't prove you wrong. Hey, there's someone in the comment section who knows what they're talking about. Move it more? Fuck me. I'd say I can't. Oh wait, maybe I can see if I just open up my other. Should have done this earlier. I can just open up my other TikTok account, and I can see what everyone else is seeing. 1 second. Oh, Barney good. All right. Oh, my phone is so fucking slow. Did y'all watch my newest TikTok? My latest TikTok video?
I've seen it yet.
Here, maybe I'll show it real quick to you guys.
You can shrink it.
I'm actually going to show it to you guys real quick, because it's actually funny, and it's basically TikTok.
Remember when that
you can just shrink your title?
Shrink my title? Well, I can't do that. Oh, well, maybe I can do it like this. All right. Profile. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys. Let's see. No, not TikTok Studios. There we go. And now for you guys on. Let's see if I click on it.
What are you showing me?
Wait, watch. Oh my god.
I want to say I'm disappointed, but my expectations were already low.
Oh, that shit was funny. Okay, there you go, guys. I saw that guy playing the flute and I was like, fuck, I need to do something with that. Okay, now I can see my own I can see my own TikTok now. It's centered.
That's weird. It does not look centered now on mine, but again, I guess my phone has a weird aspect ratio. I have a fold phone, and the front screen is a little bit thinner than most phones, so I'm guessing that kind of offsets things a little bit weird.
Yeah, that could always be the case too. God, listen, you're just a solid finger game right there. I know. I wish I was. Oh, now I can see the other background right there. I don't like that at all. Wait, or is it just on TikTok Studio? Just check. Anyways, yeah, God, I wish I was that flute. But you know, it is what it is. Perfect. Good to go. All right. Mine's legible. Good deal. All right. Fantastic. Glad we got there in the end. No wonder it's so slow right now. Justin is live right now for some reason on TikTok. So, you know, hopefully we can get some of his overspill. Women pay attention to these things. Yeah. Guys, if you guys, it was just about wait, God said what happened to my son? You looked away for 5 seconds and he gets nailed by a bunch of Italian guys, you know? Please make the flute video your new intro music. No way.
Apparently, Justin's just doing a Q&A, so
Okay.
no debates.
No one tell Mary. Guy was fingering that flute like Thomas fingered Jesus. That's good shit. Thanks, Jesus. Obliterate that like button like God obliterated Job's livestock. Okay, maybe we need to do a quick restart on TikTok and we'll get some fresh wave of opposition in here. So I'm just gonna do a quick restart on TikTok. 1 second. And live ending now. And then restart. Go live. All right. Oh. I don't know why Cafe has to have so many fucking like usernames and profile. Yeah, because he's so disliked by the atheist community that he has to have all these fucking different profiles just to talk to us. Like Cafe, it's really embarrassing that you keep having to make all these profiles to talk to us. We don't like you. We don't want to talk to you. For fuck's sake.
I don't know. I don't even know who they are.
Evander Thorne says, "Is this the Never Touch Grass Club?" Way to tell me. It depends. I mean, maybe this is the Never Touch Grass Club, but if I go into a Christian live, that's the Never Touch Ass Club. Sucks for them. Anyways,
Ayo. Man, I've barely honestly, I haven't touched grass much in the past 2 weeks because I've been recovering from my whole nose situation.
I hope you're feeling much better now. Sasuke, we're gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the
Male.
comment section. Male isn't one of the. I don't care. I don't care what your gender is. Anyways, my 3 questions are: are you at least 18? What are your pronouns? And do you think Jesus is dead?
I thought you didn't care.
I don't care about your. I don't care about your gender. I didn't ask about your gender.
But
Isn't my gender what I want to go by? So you're asking me what my pronouns are. I think you're
Yeah,
kind of like,
male isn't a pronoun. Male went to the store. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does.
It doesn't. As an English speaker, I can tell you that the phrase "male went to the store," male self, he's likes to finger male self. It doesn't make sense.
Oh. So like if I say bye, is I gotta go the same thing or no?
Bi is a sexual. Bi is a
No, like
sexual.
bye, like goodbye or I gotta go. Is that the same thing or
I
no?
is a pronoun.
It's basically a simple analogy and you can't even understand that, which is kind of sad.
The word I is
No.
a pronoun is?
Bi, bye is not a pronoun. Like when you say
Yeah,
goodbye,
I said it's an analogy, so we're comparing words.
it's not.
So I'm
It's not.
comparing.
Well, if you want to use an
Yeah,
analogy,
Not
use
that
other.
complicated.
Use other pronouns.
Yeah.
Do you not just?
You're,
do you
you're
just not know what
saying you're
pronoun?
saying male can't be used as he, which
Yeah,
is
male is
kind
a
of weird.
yeah. Male is a noun. It's not a pronoun.
Male is a gender. Okay.
Well,
What
male is
is
an
he?
adjective,
What is
right?
he?
Yes.
Well, it can be both.
Okay.
What is he?
Sasuke.
What does it
Sasuke.
mean?
Did I ask?
What
No,
does it
actually,
mean?
male. Actually, male is not a gender. It's a
What
sex
does it mean?
category.
What is a he?
What? He.
What's a
He is a
he?
pronoun. He is a pronoun.
But what is it though?
He is a third person pronoun that we use to refer
He is a
to
male.
individual.
He is a male, right? Common
Well,
sense.
no.
You can't even do that.
Well, no. Some males go by she, and some males go by they.
Yeah, but what is a he? What is a he? A male.
It's somebody who wants to be called a he.
Yeah, I'm a he.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's how English works.
It's just what you want to be called. That's literally it. It's just a preference.
I don't remember asking.
You just asked. You asked what is he?
You
and
literally did, though.
Wait a minute. Are you this brain dead? You said what is a he? Quantum
No, actually,
answers,
what
and
is
you go. I don't
Actually,
remember
what is a-
asking.
I said
So,
I said what-
Sasuke,
I said what the
you're.
male.
I'm gonna keep muting him until he's done.
You're just putting words in my mouth. It's kind of weird. And you want to get away with it.
Here, don't react. Don't react.
It's just what you want to be called.
You're trying to get away with it.
Don't respond to him. Don't react. Just wait till he gets done.
You can't even keep up. You're retarded. And you won't accept it in front of 50 people. It's sad. And you do
Are you
this
done?
every day.
Are you done yet?
Are you done? Are you done making yourself look dumb on
I'm
live
not-
every day? And then
I'm not the one who didn't know what a pronoun was. I'm not the dumb one here.
And
You
he's
couldn't
gone.
Yeah, I got rid of him. You couldn't answer a simple fucking question like what are your pronouns? You were too stupid. You didn't know what a pronoun was. I'm not the dumb one here. I know what pronouns are. You don't fucking know what a pronoun is. It's basic fucking grammar. Jesus fucking Christ.
And then they
Christian-
resorted to a slur.
And then they resort to a slur because that's what they do. They're so stupid. They have to resort to slurs because that's all they've got. He felt bad about the fact that we were
no
calling
hate
him
like
out.
Christian love.
Ain't no hate like Christian love. He felt so bad about the fact that we were calling him out for his inadequacies and for the fact that he's I'll say that I don't use this term. He's an absolute beta because he didn't know how grammar works. Betas don't know how grammar works. If he wants to be an alpha, maybe he should just fucking answer the question. Oh. Sasuke is
Beta
a slow
alpha.
learner.
I'm a yogurt male.
I'm all about
You ever see that
theta.
meme? I'm
No,
yogurt male. Better than alpha.
I'm a theta male, 100%. I'm a delta because I'm all about that change. Huh?
There's a physics joke, because there's alpha and beta radiation, but alpha is able to go through the least amount of material. So there's a joke where we say, "Oh, you're an alpha male. Tell me more about your low penetration power."
That's funny. That's good. Those type of people will never not be annoying. By the way, Christians in the comment section, if you can't do something as simple as answer the first 3 questions that I asked you, like, are you at least 18? What are your pronouns? And do you think Jesus is dead? If you cannot just simply answer those questions, then you don't get to talk to me. As simple as that. I don't need you here. I can just sit here and bitch about the Bible all day. I can prove the Bible wrong without you here. I'm just letting you guys come up to give an opportunity to defend your faith. So let's see if the next guest is any better. This guest doesn't have a name on their profile, so I'll have to ask you 4 questions. For question number 1, what should I call you?
Whatever. I don't know. You're a fucking mongoloid, though, dude. You're gross looking. Fuck you.
Christian Love.
Oh, he didn't have a reason to think. He knew that he couldn't prove that Jesus wasn't dead, so he had to come up here. And by the way, when I was weak as fuck for sure. When I was a Christian, I would never have walked up to someone and called them any kind of slur. Like, even when I was a Christian, I'm a better Christian now as an atheist than these idiots are. It's crazy. Now, Christians, don't forget, like, when I was a Christian, my pastor once told me the only way some people might ever interact with Jesus will be you. You will be someone's only interaction with Jesus. So, for all you Christians out there who want to come up here and, like, make fun of the way I look, or slur at us, or threaten us, you want that to be our interaction with Jesus? You think that's going to lead us to your faith? Oh yeah, 100%. They're completely insecure. Tiny dick energy, 100%. Let's see. They love saying they quote were a Christian with no experience with the Holy Spirit. Well, fun fact, Emmanuel, no one has any experience with the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit is your imaginary friend. I'm an ex-Christian and I loved being a Christian, but sadly, the evidence just wasn't in favor of Christianity. Now, hopefully, I can bring up a guest. Hi, Snitch.
Hi.
I'm gonna try to bring up a guest who won't flip out, won't do slurs, and we'll see how it goes. So far, Christians, just so you know, unless you come up here and be a good faith debater, my interaction with Christians is gonna be these idiots. All right, Aldrew, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and you have to answer these in order to talk to me, and then we can get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yes.
Okay, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then, do you think Jesus is dead?
No.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I'm joined by my friends Quantonaut and Scientific Snitch. We're atheists. We think Jesus is dead. Prove us wrong.
Jesus isn't dead. Jesus is alive. His essence is everywhere. He's omnipresent. He's not contained by the laws of physics or anything like that. The universe is simply within God's hands.
All right, that's the claim. Now provide the evidence.
Of what?
The claim you just made. Provide evidence for the thing you just said.
Oh, sure. Here. Hold on, let me get the verse out.
Oh, God. It's going to be the Bible.
Oh no.
Let me get...
Oh my God. I think of that.
God, I stole this one from Ian. All right, go ahead and make your argument real quick, bud, and we'll split. I will tell you why it's not a good argument.
Okay.
And by the way, when you leave the screen, I can't hear you. You have to stay on the screen for me to hear what you're saying.
John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life."
That's just another
For God did
claim.
not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but in
Mhm.
order that the world might be saved through him.
So your evidence that Jesus is true and that the Bible is true is quoting the Bible.
Well, Jesus is just true historically, like as a person.
Well, sure,
Like, but
Jesus
to prove his
existed.
being.
Jesus existed as a historical person, but using the Bible to prove the Bible. But here, you recognize this object I have in my hand right here?
No, what is that?
You don't know what this is?
No, what is that?
It's an extension cord. You don't know what extension cords are?
No, I never seen that one before.
Actually, it's a power strip.
Oh, it's a power strip. So it's a power strip. Okay.
Do you know what that is?
So you plug this into the wall, and you plug all your other plugs into this one. Thus, you can provide power to multiple different electronics. Can I get power from it if I do this?
Are you being serious right now, or are you trolling?
I'm being serious right now. Can I get power from this power strip by plugging it into itself?
No, you couldn't get power from that. I mean,
Okay.
you could actually get power from it.
No, you couldn't.
Yes,
Here,
I
watch.
have power.
Watch.
This is
Here,
giving
here,
me
No,
power.
Here, no, watch.
Experiment.
It's not turning on. Why isn't it turning on? Plugged in. Why isn't it turning on?
I want to hear what he has
You got
to
to
say
plug it
about-
into a wall.
Why can't I plug it into itself?
Because that's not how that works, buddy.
Because it's circular, isn't it? Like if you plug it into itself, it can't receive any power. You need something outside of it to receive power, correct?
Yes, in that power cord
Okay.
case, yes.
This is you quoting the Bible to me to prove the Bible is true. When you quote the Bible to prove the Bible is true, you're just being circular. You're not providing me any actual evidence. You're just restating the claim again. When you say the Bible is true because the Bible is true, guess what? If a Muslim walks up to you and says, Muhammad is the last and only true prophet of God, and you say to them, what's the evidence for that? And they say, well, it says so in the Quran. Would that be good evidence for their claim?
No, not for those Muslims, no.
It's not a good claim for you Christians. When you quote the Bible as evidence of your claim, you're basically just saying, here's the evidence for my claim, another claim. I don't need more claims. I need evidence for the claim. Just in the same way that you would require evidence from a Muslim if they quoted to you the Quran, I'm going to need evidence that's just not you quoting the Bible.
Well, the Bible is a historical document.
It's not. It's historically inaccurate. Would you like an example?
I mean, you can probably grab something from the Bible that doesn't resonate, but I mean,
that a yes
the
or-
evidence itself, I'm not getting the Bible to prove the Bible's real. I think we all know this. You said itself, Jesus Christ is a historical person. So I'm using the Bible to prove that Jesus Christ is God and not dead.
Well, those are two different propositions. Like Jesus is God versus Jesus is not dead are two different propositions. You do realize there were Christians who don't believe Jesus is God, but they think he resurrected from the dead. Like those two things aren't tied together.
You do also realize that the Bible can reference true things without all of the Bible being true, right? In the same way that like a Marvel comic can reference the state of New York without, being entirely true.
Yeah,
well,
in the early neither is the Bible. In the early 2000s, Marvel produced a comic book where the Avengers and the X-Men and even some villains helped to clean up New York and save people from the rubble of the 9/11 tragedy.
And you believe that?
I don't though. That's the thing. Just because
Okay.
just because the Marvel comic has a true event that took place in it being 9/11 doesn't mean that Spider-Man was there helping out everyone. And just because the Bible might contain a couple
Yes, I agree.
and just because
Call
the
of
Bible
Duty isn't real.
I wasn't done talking. And just because the Bible contains a few dots here and there of historical things, like Jesus existed, doesn't mean that the magical, supernatural claims of the Bible are true. So in the same way that I might believe that 9/11 happened, but I don't believe that Spider-Man existed, doesn't mean that just because Jesus existed doesn't mean I'm going to believe that he resurrected from the dead. You're going to have to provide me evidence that Jesus rose again from the dead. Can you do that? Yes or no?
A better example would be saying, I believe the 9/11 buildings existed, but I don't believe they fell down. I think
No, it's
that's
not
a
the
better
same.
analogy than some Spider-Man
no,
bullshit.
No, it's not the same.
Spider-Man, who cares? That's comic book. Can you be
Wait a minute.
serious?
Wait a minute. Is Neil deGrasse Tyson a real person, Aldrew?
I don't know. Maybe you believe he's not real. I don't know.
No,
Based on your ideology, I don't know.
I don't think you know my ideology is the problem. I think you're way behind in the conversation. Let's just take it back to step one.
I'm cooking you. I'm running circles around you.
I don't think you know what's happening right now is the problem. So Aldrew,
I've literally been
what is the evidence that Jesus isn't a corpse? What is the evidence that your Jesus isn't absolute fucking worm food? Go ahead.
We don't have his bones.
Do we have the bones of Alexander the Great?
Is Alexander the Great real?
Yeah, he was a real person.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
Why?
We have coins.
Have you ever seen Alexander the Great?
We have coins with by the way, I'm not contending that Jesus didn't exist. Like I believe.
So what are you arguing about then?
Aldrew, if you listen and track the conversation, I'm not using big
claim
words.
is on the screen.
Yeah, the claim is on the screen. I think Jesus of Nazareth was a real historical person who took a huge L from the Romans and died. The thing I don't believe is the magic part where he rose again from the dead. Just like I believe that Alexander the Great was a real person, I don't believe he was born of the god Zeus. Can you provide evidence that Jesus isn't worm food?
Eyewitnesses saw him resurrect.
What eyewitness? Name him.
It was oral tradition.
Oral tradition. I don't care about tradition. Do you have any evidence for the tradition?
Well, it was an oral tradition.
So
most of those people, not all of them, couldn't write. The Gentiles.
Or what?
No. Yeah, this is just. I heard the story.
Yeah. They didn't have iPhones back then. You do know they didn't have iPhones.
I didn't make the claim. Aldrew, can you stop debating this invisible make-believe person that you think you're talking to? You're talking to me. Did I ever once say?
I thought you said Jesus Christ is real.
Yeah, he just didn't resurrect from the dead.
Okay, that's a personal problem though.
It's not a personal. It's your personal problem. You have a personal problem, Aldrew, and your personal problem is that you're not able to prove to me or to the audience that Jesus isn't a corpse. Prove to me that Jesus isn't just dust and bones scattered about in the desert of Judea and that he's actually alive. Or are you just conceding? Is that what's happening? This is embarrassing.
That's projection, bud. You're getting cooked.
I don't care if you think you're getting. I know that's projection right there. I'm the chef, and you're the rabbi. I'm cooking you. Well done. You're embarrassing yourself. You've yet to give us any evidence that Jesus resurrected from the dead, and you keep pointing out things I never said. Like I don't have iPhone footage of Jesus resurrection from the dead. Fun fact: never asked for it. I just asked for anything reliable, and all you fucking given us so far. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guest has 3 brain cells, and they are working overtime.
I have a good question.
You didn't
Dalton.
Yeah.
In the Epic of Gilgamesh, is the city of Ur a real, like an actual kingdom in real life? Was it?
It was.
Or was it fictional? Okay, in the same way that I don't believe the supernatural events of the Epic of Gilgamesh. I don't believe that there were immortal humans or a bull of heaven rampaging through the city or anything. But like the city of Ur was still like a real place. I also apply that same standard onto the Bible.
The problem is I don't think Aldrin knows jack shit about history. He wasn't even aware that Alexander the Great was a real person.
Well, let's ask him. Do you know what the Epic of Gilgamesh is?
No, I don't know the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Well, it's another much older supernatural story. But
I don't care.
Similarly,
I
it
don't care,
references
honestly,
some
like-
things that did exist and some things that didn't.
It's like saying, did I?
He's gotten to the I don't care.
It's like saying,
part
did
where
you read the
he's
Quran? Who cares? I don't care. I care about the Bible.
My point is that I have the same standard of evidence, and so do you. Like you have this same standard of evidence when it comes to other religions.
Yeah,
it's just
the
that you're
Quran-
not applying that same standard to your own religion.
Yeah, you're a huge fucking hypocrite. At least when it comes to me, Aldrew, I can say the Quran and the Bible are both fake. They both make claims that aren't true and aren't substantiated. You can't prove to me the Bible is any more true than the Quran.
I said there were eyewitnesses. You don't want that. You don't
Well,
want
there-
eyewitnesses.
there are no
you don't
eyewitnesses.
want that. You want
There
an
are no-
iPhone picture.
I've specifically said, Aldrew, you are basically like embarrassing yourself even further. I specifically said, I don't want a fucking iPhone picture. Never once asked for it. Still not asking for it. The fact that you keep saying I'm asking for it means that you just aren't interested in what I actually want. You're talking to an imaginary friend. Is the person who's asking for iPhone pictures in the room with us? I don't fucking see him. What I asked you for is, first and foremost, there are no eyewitnesses. Name them. All you've got is stories. What is the evidence of any eyewitness?
It was an oral tradition. It's the 30s. What don't you get?
Do you believe all oral
seculars,
traditions?
atheists? Everyone
Do you believe-
agrees with that.
No, we don't. No, they don't. The
Yeah.
consensus.
Well, not you.
The consensus of biblical scholarship is that the Gospels are anonymous works. They don't go back to the apostles. You don't get to sit here and say everyone knows jack shit when you don't know jack shit. The consensus of biblical scholarship is we don't fucking know who wrote the Gospels.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we don't know that the disciples didn't write them. Because guess
Well,
what? It was
we
an
don't have any-
oral tradition.
Wow, he's really showing his colors now. By the way, guys, this is if you are thinking about converting to Christianity, this is what you have to look forward to. Like, this is the amount of brain, like, you will become this brain dead if you start engaging in like Christianity. This guest here, all he has is oral tradition and making silly sounds. He doesn't.
That's what it
have
was.
What is the evidence that, like, for example, let's take for example the Gospel of Matthew. What is the evidence that the Gospel of Matthew actually goes back to Matthew? You don't get anyone saying that the Gospel of Matthew that we have today goes back to Matthew until the late 2nd century. No one made a claim about that prior to the late 2nd century.
Oral tradition.
Is
It's
this
simple.
Is this all you got? You think that just saying oral tradition?
A second.
Is this all you got? Just saying oral tradition will suddenly make. You think that's satisfying? Guess what? Muhammad rode to heaven on a horse. You know how I know that, Aldrew? Oral tradition. To quote you, a Muslim
Also,
can.
aren't like,
There are hundreds.
Seas and Iliad, weren't those like famous oral traditions as well?
They
Does
were.
that mean Cyclopses are real?
So Aldrew,
We don't care.
did Muhammad ride to heaven
Don't
on a horse?
care.
Because there's oral tradition that says he did.
We don't care.
I know you don't care. You're intellectually lazy.
Matthew 20.
You don't care about what's true. You just want to keep believing. And quite frankly, since you've made
Matthew
it very
24.
since you've made it very clear that you're not interested in truth and you don't care, we're just gonna move on. Jesus is disappointed in you, Aldrew. That was embarrassing. That's probably the laziest debater I've had all day. Aldrew.
That was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Lazy arguments. He doesn't care.
Are we sure he was over 18?
I'm not convinced.
Because really, almost certainly not, but
Almost certainly not. All right. Hopefully the next guest will act like a fucking adult. Although I don't have high confidence after all we've had one good guest today, and all the other ones were either acted like children or were engaging in slurs. Every single one of them bad examples for Jesus. So hopefully Guardian will be better. Guardian, I'm going to ask you 3 questions and then we can get to the conversation. I hope you can act like an adult. So question number 1, are you at least 18?
Well, yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him, I guess.
And then in question number 3, is Jesus dead?
No, he's forever living.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm joined by my friends Quantonaut and Scientific Snitch. And Jesus is dead. Prove us wrong.
Well, essentially, the premise to say Jesus is dead, you're essentially insinuating that Jesus Christ is a man, correct?
Yeah, Jesus was a man. Or at least I'm willing to
Okay,
concede the
if I
historicity. I'm willing to, for the sake of this argument, concede the historicity of Jesus, even though it's spurious. I'll just concede that Jesus was a man. He was crucified by the Romans and he died.
well, okay, so if I reject your premise and say that Jesus is a spirit, would you consider it going by our book?
Well, the New Testament
Yeah,
does
you
make
have
the
no
claim
idea
that
what you're
after
talking about?
the New Testament does make the claim that after Jesus' resurrection, he became a quote life-giving spirit, according to Paul in 1 Corinthians 15. I would just need evidence
Yeah,
of that.
what became a life-giving spirit?
Yeah, I just need evidence of that.
Pardon me?
I would just need evidence of that now.
Well, the evidence is obviously his own people, and obviously I appeal to experts that they were unalive for exactly what they saw, and they stood on it.
Really, what evidence do we have that the apostles were put to death for Christianity, and that they weren't, like, for example, they weren't allowed?
Well,
Were they allowed to even like recant? Do we have any evidence of that? As far as the data is concerned, the only evidence we have is that Peter and Paul and James were put to death. We don't know if they were allowed to recant. We don't know any of the details surrounding their death, and the rest of the death of the apostles are a matter of later oral tradition.
well, first and foremost, I don't believe in Christianity. Number one. Number two, I believe in
Wait,
holiness. So
you're not
I
a,
am a
you're not a,
Christian.
you're not a Christian.
No. Well, I'm a diehard Christian, but I would say like some are fakers. But that's my point of view. But yeah, I believe in holiness.
In this conversation, Christianity refers to the religion surrounding Jesus of Nazareth. I don't do that.
No. Jesus
we
is
don't.
not. Okay,
We don't
show
do
me the
that.
word Christianity in the book.
Wait, you don't. Wait a minute. Just because you don't, if a word doesn't occur in your book, you don't believe in it. So you don't believe in the Trinity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't believe in it. No.
You don't believe in the Bible.
No, what do you mean? I believe wholeheartedly in the Bible.
Where's the word Bible in the Bible?
Sorry, I read the Holy Scriptures, me personally, and that is within the Scriptures.
All right, so you don't use the word Bible.
No, I don't use like within our church, we don't use the word Bible. No.
Wait, where's the word? You believe in a church? You believe in churches, like the buildings? Do you go to a church?
No. No, church is essentially like members. That's how we would refer church.
You don't go to a building, right?
Well, like the building is holding the church, if you understand. Like the church is not the building. The people is the church.
Let's see what else you might believe in that's not in the Bible. Do you believe in free will?
Well, obviously I believe in free will. I mean, that's in the Bible.
Where's that in the Bible?
The free will to yeah, it's in the Bible. What are you talking about? When Adam ate of the fruit, he had free will to eat of it.
Where does it say that? Where does it say he had free will?
How's that not free will? I'm very like, was he restrained?
It's a choice. It's just not free will.
How's that not free? Like, you can have free will and do good. You do realize that, right?
It was determined. It's determinism, not free will. Do you know what free will is?
Well, determined free or?
Yeah, do you know what free will is?
Well, that you can do whatever you want.
No.
Yeah, that you can do whatever you want.
That's not free will.
Then what is free will?
Free will is the ability to make choices.
What's your point of view of free will?
Free will is the ability to make choices independent of underlying causes.
Okay, are you restrained?
No, you don't have to be restrained in order to not have free will.
Okay, perfect. So that means you're free. Like it's not that complicated.
Well, no, the free and free will refers free from underlying causes. If it's not free will,
Well,
then
the
it's
cause
determined.
is not making you restrained, so
Well, it doesn't matter.
it's not. There's no restraint at all.
No, there is. The underlying cause is what results in you performing an action. Adam and Eve, they were always bound and determined to eat the fruit because they were set up from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
but once again, were they controlled at all to do their action, or was it
I would say,
freely?
I would say, yeah,
Um,
they were controlled by the underlying causes.
okay, perfect. So what was that underlying cause that controlled them to do their action?
Yeah, one, they were created without the knowledge of good and evil. Two, an item was
No,
placed.
perfect. I reject your premise.
Wait,
I reject
you
your
think
premise that they were
wait,
created with good and they were created
no,
with evil.
no. I said they were created without the knowledge of good and evil.
Oh, okay. I misheard you. Sorry.
Two,
No, they were created with the knowledge of good, though.
no, they weren't.
Okay, can you prove to me that they weren't?
No. Where does it say where does it say that? All I get from the
Well,
what is the name of the tree that they eat from?
the tree of good and evil.
The tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah, the tree of the knowledge of. They already had the knowledge of good.
Well, no, they don't. Where does it say that?
Okay, prove to me that they didn't. Show me anything
Well,
bad
no,
that they did.
the Bible says that when they eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that their eyes were open and they became like God, knowing good
evil
and
to what?
evil.
Open to what? Is it
Meaning
good
that-
or evil?
Okay, if there's a fruit, and it is the fruit of big penis, okay, and I eat it, and it says, "Thus I get a big penis from eating fruit." What does that mean about before I ate the fruit?
Maybe you had a medium size. Well, first of all, I'm not gonna
That you-
pause. Number one.
that you don't have it. So if you eat
No,
the fruit,
pause.
If you eat the
Maybe
fruit,
you have a medium size. You never know.
If you eat, yeah, but it's not large. It's not big. So you don't.
No, but it's just you want
so
extra inches.
You
but
eat.
pause,
You
man.
ate the fruit, and thus you acquired something you didn't have before. In this case, Adam and Eve ate the tree of
Yeah.
the knowledge of good and evil, and thus they acquired. What did they get when they ate the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil? What did they get?
They got the knowledge of evil.
No.
in my point of view.
No. Is it called the fruit of the tree of evil? The knowledge of
Oh,
evil?
okay, so we're okay. Then what were they before? If they weren't good.
Ignorant. They were ignorant.
Okay, I can go with that. Okay, so they were ignorantly holy. Okay, I can go with that premise. Whatever.
Yeah, they didn't have the knowledge of good and evil. They hadn't eaten the
Okay,
fruit
yeah.
yet. So they didn't know what
Okay,
was
okay, but-
good. They didn't know what was evil. Okay, second,
Mhm.
God allows a serpent into the garden to
No,
tempt them.
I reject that premise. I reject that
God,
premise.
wait.
I-
The
because
serpent.
because God didn't restrain
wait,
them.
God didn't allow it.
Yeah, he allowed everything. He allowed everything to run its
Okay.
course.
So when I said God allowed a serpent into the garden to tempt them, that was a true statement.
Well, God allowed life to begin. So like, what's I'm confused on what's your premise.
I didn't ask about fucking hell, Jesus Christ. I didn't ask about life. I said God allowed a serpent into the garden that would tempt Adam and Eve. True or false?
What do you mean? Like did he open the door for the serpent? No.
No,
serpent
he just
came
didn't.
in.
He didn't stop him. He didn't stop him.
Well, he let once again creation run its course.
Okay, so yes, God allowed the serpent into the garden.
Well, God also allowed Adam and Eve to breathe. So it's like I'm very confused on your premise. I'm very
Jesus,
confused on your premise.
Jesus, keep up, dude. Come on, you cannot be this stupid. Come on.
No, but where are you going with this? I'm very confused.
Maybe an easier argument would be hardening the Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah, sure. How about that?
'Cause
God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Did Pharaoh want to let the children of Israel go?
No, absolutely not. And that was from the
Oh.
beginning before he hardened his heart.
Oh, so there's not a point in the story where Pharaoh says, "Get out and go," and then the Bible says, "And God hardened his heart, so they changed his mind."
What do you mean? His heart was always hardened,
No,
right?
it
From the
wasn't.
get-go.
It wasn't.
Okay, show me that. Okay, perfect. Show me that he said the
God
truth
says,
by saying
God
let them
says,
go.
God says, "I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will not let you go."
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. I don't negate that. at the end of the day,
And at,
did
and at one
Pharaoh,
point, at one
with
point,
his
at
own
one
free
point,
will,
at what point in the story did Pharaoh want to let the Israelites go? Did he say tell them to leave?
yeah, at the very end, when he clearly saw the damage that was clearly
Okay.
being done by
What
his own
happened?
ignorance.
What happened after he told them to leave?
Well, I thank the Lord that they left, and he was still hardened and wanted to slaughter them.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't just say he hardened his own
It doesn't
heart.
say that. it does in the book that he let them
I-
go and still wanted to.
I swear the biblical, like the biblical illiteracy from some of these Christians will never.
No, but the gaslighting is cute also. But
The
whatever.
movie
It's not
Prince of
gaslighting.
Egypt, but that's not
you are
actual.
ignorant. Here, I'm gonna
Wait, so
pull
you're
up the-
telling me right now he let them go and he didn't go and
Again,
try to
the
get
Prince
them
of
back?
Egypt is not
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
biblical,
only
doctrine.
he returned. He went to go get
Pardon?
them only after God hardened his heart. He was going to let them go, and then
Well,
God
sir,
hardened his heart so that he changed his
can
mind.
you show me perfect? Can you show me before?
Yeah.
Okay,
What was it
perfect.
about-
Can you show me
what was it about
before?
for? What was it about for?
That the heart
okay.
was hardened.
No. What was Pharaoh's desire? He told the Israelites to leave, get out. He wants them to leave, correct?
Yeah, 1,000
Okay.
times he said that, but
And
he
they-
also lied.
And then
1,000
they
times.
left. No, he didn't lie. He told them to get out, and they left. And then what happens right after that? What does the Bible
Wait,
say
how
right
many
after
times
that?
did he tell them to get
What
out?
does it?
and
What does
they
it
didn't
say?
get
What
out?
does it? What does it say right after that? After Pharaoh, after Pharaoh says, "Leave, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see you anymore." What happens
what verse?
right
What verse?
after? Oh, let me pull it up real quick. Exodus, and I'll pull it up on the screen so there's no confusion here.
Yeah, may you please pull up the KJV, just the KJV.
No, we don't do that shit here.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
let's see.
Exactly the point. You hate history. You hate history. I'm appealing to experts, and you hate history.
We will take a huge giant steaming dump on the King James Version Bible after I prove this point because that's a shit translation.
Exactly. You're scared of the.
No, we're not scared of it.
You're scared
Like-
of the King James. You're
No,
scared of the King James. Imagine
No,
that.
I have one on my I have one on my show on my I use it for toilet paper. I'm not scared of it. King
Yeah,
James
perfect. So then pull it up.
the King James Bible is just a shit Bible, and no, you don't get to dictate how the
Then
slide
pull it up.
goes.
That's my shit Bible. Just pull.
No.
Why not just pull up the original Hebrew? Are you
Oh,
scared
I'm
of
very
the original
confused.
Hebrew?
So
Let's go to the Hebrew. If we're going to go talk about accuracy, which the King James isn't. Are you okay with us going
Wait.
to the Hebrew?
Wait, so for a Muslim you can go for the Quran, but for me you can't.
No, we're not going to go to
King
the
James?
Version.
Wow, all
We're
right,
not-
that's
we're not-
rude.
Yeah, you can sit there all day and sulk all you want. We're not going to the King James Version Bible.
No, but
a
it's
shit-
my belief is only by the King James.
Well, okay,
Like,
then
can you respectfully
So
just?
then you
go by my
don't
book?
believe.
I guess we'll
Wait.
just have to attack the King James Version Bible then first.
Thank
to
you.
show you-
That's all I want.
What is Isaiah 7:14?
You can't break it. That's the thing. You're scared of it because you can't break it.
What is Isaiah 7:14? Open up your
May
King
you
James
just
Bible.
please read it? Well, I don't have my second book. I'm be honest. I'm
Yeah.
being 100. I wish I had my second book.
King James Bible, the oldest Bible I own, my first ever Bible. And I'll show you why the King James Bible is absolute shit. King James.
Wait. Can I just see if it actually says King James? Like, I don't know. It says probably NIV or some shit. You know,
Oh my God.
just for my sake. Just for my sake.
What does that fucking
Oh,
say?
look at that beauty. Wait. What? It says the Holy Bible. I didn't see King James.
It says the Holy Bible authorized King James Version. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my days! Look at this beauty.
Now,
That was beautiful.
yeah, it's just you're getting orgasms off the King James Version Bible. It's so weird. All right.
It's amazing. You know, it's such holy scriptures.
How are you saying that a translation is the Holy Scripture? It's not even the original one, dude.
Oh well, you know what's funny? I speak English. That's the whole problem. You know, like
Yeah,
I
you
don't
speak English. You don't speak the original language. So how do you even know that it's the correct translation, buddy?
I'm just going to ignore
Appeal
his
to expert.
I'm going to ignore his orgasm for a second. Okay, Isaiah 7:14. This is so fucking weird. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. That's the King James Version Bible, Isaiah 7:14.
Amen.
It doesn't say that in the original Hebrew.
What are you? First of all, your premise of saying it doesn't say that in.
It doesn't. Oh, here, I'll make it really clear
But
for
yet, but
you.
yet, King.
You have a hard time understanding basic English, which is weird that you read an
No, you
older
don't know.
English Bible.
You don't know
Okay,
our scriptures.
wait. Hine ha'olma hara ve'yoledet ben v'kirat shemo Emmanuel. What does that mean?
Dude, what do I care? King James hired people to do that work.
King James, then he wasted his money because they got it wrong. What is the Hebrew word
You
for
said,
virgin?
I apologize.
Here, I'm not going to let
Have
you
you ever
move on
went to
from this.
Oxford?
I'm not going
You
to
ever
let you
went
move
to
on from
Oxford?
this. I don't care. What is the Hebrew word for virgin?
I have no. That's why we have Google, sir. You know.
Google, what is the Hebrew word for virgin?
Perfect. Okay, I don't know. Search it up. I'm not Google. That.
I don't have to look it up. It's Betula. Would you like me to prove it to you?
Dude, first and foremost, what Hebrew are you going?
There's only fucking biblical Hebrew, you dunce.
There's two.
Okay,
there's
shut up.
two, Bryce.
Here.
There's the Messianic and the
anyone who's a mod, go ahead and mute him until I get done talking. Like if he unmutes himself, mute him until I say so. I'm gonna pull up. The King James Version Bible. More like Queen James because King James was a bit fruity, as we all know, and we love him for that. So let's take a look. Let's see. Joel 1 verse 8. I'm gonna pull up in the King James Version Bible. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. Okay, this is the King James Version. See right here at the top of the screen, it says KJV. All right. Now, this verse says here, let's see. Joel 1:8. Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. Virgin here? Look at the Hebrew. Betula. Sorry, over here. Wrong one. There we go. Betula. Betula. Betula is the Hebrew word for virgin. It's got the letter kaf right there before it, which means like or as. Betula, like a virgin. Eli betula. So that's the word for virgin is betula. Let's see if the word betula occurs in Isaiah 7:14. Everyone, let's see. Isaiah 7 verse 14. Let's see. That's 7:17. 1 second. 7:14. Let's see. Lakin yitan Adonai hu lakem ot. Hine ha'alma hara ve'yoledet ben ve'kirat shemo Emmanuel. Question. Did anyone hear the word betula in that?
Sir, go report the website. Go report the website. Don't report me. I mean, I feel like the website is pretty reliable. You know.
I'm reporting on the King James Version Bible here. Your King James Version Bible has inaccurately translated what the original Hebrew says, and we can let him unmute now. The Hebrew word for virgin is betula. The word betula does not occur in Isaiah 7:14, and yet the King James Version authors, translators are translating it as virgin.
What's the word virgin in Isaiah?
It's not. There's no word for virgin in Isaiah. It says in a better translation
right,
for
but
Isaiah.
Translated version in
properly translated, it would say, "Therefore, the Lord Himself will give to you a sign. Behold, the young woman is pregnant."
Yeah, but what's the word virgin in Isaiah? You still didn't show the word virgin. Like I know they translated the word virgin, so it's like it's impossible to say, "Oh, they didn't translate the word virgin." You know.
Were you not paying attention at all?
I'm paying close attention, and it still says virgin, and I know for a fact that the translators.
It doesn't. It says Alma. Alma is not virgin in Hebrew.
Right. I apologize, sir. Are you better than the translators that King James hired?
Yes. Because guess what? The King James Version Bible
Right.
It isn't even a fucking translation. It's a revision of the Bishop's Bible, you twat.
Well, it's once again at the end.
And unlike your King James Version translation, I don't give a shit. It's not a translation. The King James version is not
You
a
didn't go to
translation.
Oxford.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Who gives a shit if I went to Oxford? I still know Hebrew better than the King James version translators because it's okay. Here's one or two options.
You know better
Either-
Hebrew than 40.
Either the author
There
of
was
the King,
40, sir.
either the King James version translators knew that Betula doesn't mean virgin and they translated it that way anyway. So in that case, they're just dishonest and pushing an agenda, or they're just stupid and they think that Alma means virgin. Which one is it?
Dude, what? Can you please pull up on your screen one more time? Just, I didn't very much see it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Show me where here on the screen the Hebrew word for virgin Betula occurs. Where does it show up?
I don't even know words like. Where's the word
here,
virgin?
it's this
Like
word
I don't know Hebrew.
It's this word right here. Alma.
Okay, so that's virgin. Okay, so
Nope.
is that Isaiah?
Nope.
That's the.
It's not virgin
Wait,
though.
can you click on it?
That's the problem. It's not virgin. Alma doesn't mean virgin
Okay,
in Hebrew.
can you copy it and just put it on Google? Just for.
I'll get even better than Google. Even better than Google. We'll go to an actual. We'll go to the Brown Drivers Briggs lexicon, which is the standard lexicon, for like biblical Hebrew. And
We don't go by the LXX.
I didn't. Who said anything about the LXX?
Oh, I heard LXX. Never mind. Sorry.
I said Brown Drivers Briggs lexicon, which is the standard for. By the way, you do go by the LXX, sadly, because you go by the King James.
No, I don't.
Now, well,
no, we don't.
well,
No, we
guess what? Guess what? In the
That's such
original
bad.
Hebrew, it doesn't
Yeah,
say.
but which Hebrew
Wait,
line?
wait.
Which Hebrew
In
line?
the fucking original. Okay. I'm not gonna lose my shit. I'm not gonna do it. I'm
There's
just
the
gonna keep talking.
Masoretic and there's.
Shut up. Shut up. The Dead Sea Scrolls say the exact same thing in Isaiah 7:14 that the Masoretic Scrolls say. The Dead Sea Scrolls agree with the Masoretic text. It says in the Dead Sea Scrolls, Hine ha'alma hara, behold, the young woman is pregnant. Not a virgin shall conceive, but the young woman is pregnant. And by the way, the fact that your Bible says the virgin shall conceive, future tense, that's what the Septuagint says. The LXX, it's not what the Hebrew says. Neither the Dead Sea Scrolls nor the Masoretic text say shall conceive in the future tense. Both the Hebrew Masoretic and the Dead Sea Scrolls both say is pregnant. Hara, not tahare, which means shall conceive, but hara is pregnant. The only thing in the original languages that says shall conceive is the Greek LXX. So when you sit here and say, we don't go by the LXX, but your translation actually conforms more with the LXX over the original Hebrew, then you just don't know what you're talking about.
So, what are you talking about? I'm going by the Masoretic. It clearly
No, you're not.
says what is translated.
Nope.
A
The Masoretic.
version.
Here, does the Masoretic text say tahare or hara? Tahare means shall conceive. Hara means is pregnant.
They already
Present
translated
tense.
For me. I think they got it right. You know?
Well, you wouldn't, I guess you wouldn't know. You just,
Well, I actually do. That's why I appeal to
you actually don't. And
I
everyone
appeal
here
to
has,
experts.
no, you don't. Because here, look, I got.
How? I just
Wh-
called you a king.
What is the
A
Brown
king
is
hired.
the Brown Drivers Briggs a source from experts?
Dude, what are you talking about? I'm just going by King James.
Is the Brown Drivers Briggs a source from the experts?
No, no,
No.
no. Okay, sir. I just go by King James.
You're too brain dead. I'm not talking to you anymore. King James onlyists are the most brain dead people on the planet. They refuse to learn anything new. They're incapable of learning things. They just turn their brains off and go, I guess I'll just believe in the King James Version Bible. Without fucking thinking for 5 seconds about what they're reading is true or not. Fuck the King James Bible. It's only good for fucking toilet paper. Hi, Gar.
Yeah,
Hey, what's
that
up?
was hey, that was painful. And I mean, and a good example that we have of Betula and Alma being used correctly is, unfortunately, when we see the graping of Dinah. Before Dinah is graped, she's referred to as a Betula. But after she is graped, because she's not a virgin anymore, she's referred to as an Alma.
Well, it actually refers to her as a Na'ara in the Hebrew before she gets raped. But after in the Greek Septuagint, after she gets raped, she's called Parthenos, which shows that Parthenos doesn't mean virgin necessarily.
Correct. And I think so people that are KJV purists, what I want you to do, it's real simple. Do a Google search of the rules that King James placed on the translators when they were translating the Bible. He placed rules. There's like 16 rules. And one of them was that the bishop's Bible, its text, was to remain as pure as possible unless there were cases where the texts that they had were like undisputable, but to edge towards the bishop Bible. It's literally just a rewriting of the bishop's Bible to make it more politically friendly. Because during the time period, King James inherited a kingdom that had been torn due to Catholic versus Protestant civil unrest.
What was his name? I forgot already. Guardian. Let's see. Guardian. And then the notes on this has orgasm while thinking of King James.
That was wild too. That was goofy. Yeah, nobody consented to that. When I'm done working, I'm gonna go wash my brain out with dental floss. I gotta get in those grooves.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just for crying out loud, just study your Bible history. Like, why does your Bible translation, why does it say what it says? For example, the NIV is a thought for thought. It's not a word for word. It's a thought for thought. So that's all I wanted to come up and say. Quantonaut Scientific, nice to see you all. I'm going to hop back down. I'll let you kick me.
Nice to see you.
All right. Have a good day, Cyber. Yeah, we all feel a bit defiled listening to Guardian orgasm while talking about the King James. That was so gross. Okay. Jesus fuck. Listen, if there is a God out there, just bring me one good person. For fuck's sake. Send me your best. Well, the problem is that this is probably God's best. That's the sad truth.
I don't know if that noise he made was technically a sin, but it should be.
Yeah, for real. King James Version only is our idolatry. That's idolatry. They worship the King James Version Bible. All right. Swayze. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So question number 1, are you at least 18?
I'm over 18, yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
I don't know. I've never really done that.
You've never used pronouns before?
I, me.
Well, those are first-person pronouns, but what third-person pronouns do you go by?
I never wrote about myself in the third person.
Yeah, but other people
I
talk about you
I
in
don't
the
really
third
do the
person.
pronoun thing. What's that?
You don't do the pronoun thing. You don't use pronouns?
No.
All right. Well, I'll accept that you don't use pronouns, but if you ever use any pronouns for the rest of this conversation, you're going to hear this sound. All right?
Okay.
All right. Do you think Jesus is dead?
I don't know.
Sorry, I is a pronoun. You don't use
That's
pronouns.
the pronoun I go by.
But you say you don't use pronouns, don't use I.
Can I ask you a question?
I and you are both pronouns. You don't use pronouns.
Okay.
So do you think Jesus is dead?
Don't know.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I think Jesus is dead. Can you prove me wrong?
Jesus is spiritual. I just want I've been watching.
Ooh, I is a pronoun again. Don't use pronouns, bud.
And I just want your opinion. Your pronoun, Phil.
I and you are both pronouns again. Did you just lie to me when you say you don't use
Can you-
pronouns?
I don't associate
You
myself with
and
pronouns.
I.
I never said
You
I
and
don't
I.
use.
You.
I just don't play
you
the
and I-
pronoun game.
Grammar isn't a game. So do you use
Okay.
pronouns?
This is hilarious.
Do you use pronouns?
What's that?
Do you use pronouns?
Do I use pronouns? No, I don't go by pronouns.
So people don't go. You get mad when people say, he doesn't know how grammar works, or he
I
went
think
to
it's
the
strange that
store.
you're asking me what pronouns I go by.
But do you get angry when people call you he and him?
I just never thought about it. Never bothered me.
But do you have a problem with people calling you he and him, or she and her, or they and them?
I've been alive for 42 years. I've never had an issue.
I didn't
This
ask
is-
you that.
This is just
I-
a new thing.
So you do go by pronouns. If I call
I
you a
don't- I
she,
don't-
are you a she?
I don't know.
You don't know if you're a she?
How do you know that?
You just said I don't know.
I know, but
That's
how
all
do
I
you know
know.
if you're a she or not?
Well, pronouns are a preference for like what pronouns you want to use. So
Yeah, but I'm not. Is it a preference that I want other people to call me?
yeah, like what do you want people to call you as? Do you
Wh-
want people to
whatever
call
you
you
feel
he
like,
and
I don't know,
he
whatever-
and him,
I
or
want you-
she and
I want
her,
you
or
to
they and
judge.
them? Here, listen. I'll give you one last chance and only one last chance to answer the question, or I'll just drop you because you're not an honest interlocutor.
I am honest. I've been very honest.
No, you're not. If you can't answer a simple question like what are your pronouns, then I don't want to talk to you. Simple as that. Fuck off with your bigotry. Yeah, thank you for the cowboy hat. I'm going to read some super chats, and then we'll move on to the next guest. By the way, for all the Christians in the comment section right now, in the guest box waiting right now, you have to answer. It's an absolute requirement of this live. You have to answer the 3 preliminary questions, and if you can't answer them, you don't get to talk to me. I will just drop you. That's how this works. So just think about that while you're sitting in the guest box.
At Simeon Urchin with the $4.99. This guest doesn't even have 3 brain cells. He only has 2, and both are fighting to the death for 3rd place.
What are we referring to? The King James. It's probably not the King James guy. He's probably referring to the guy we said had 3 brain cells. What was that? His name? Aldrew? Yeah. Aldrew doesn't even have 3 brain cells. That's probably accurate there.
And at GeForce with the $26.66 WGForce. So, great to see you. You're cooking as usual. Nose boop.
Oh, I love having my nose booped. Thank you, GeForce. Boop. Back to you too, bud. All right. We're gonna bring up the next guest. Hotep. Hoi. As a Prince of Egypt reference. Hotep. Hoi. Give the snake charmer our answer. Hotep, I'm gonna ask you 3
Hello.
preliminary. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the meat and potato of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
You aren't gonna like this, but I go by anyone that you can speak to me respectfully with.
I didn't hear a pronoun there. What was that?
You can use anyone you want. You can call me sister, brother, friend.
Sister,
anything
brother,
you
and
want.
friend aren't pronouns.
As long as it's with respect. He, she, they, them, he, her.
Which do you have a
Speak to me with
preferred?
respect.
Do you have a preferred pronoun?
Yeah, he, something else, you know, he, yeah.
He. All right.
He's a good one.
He, him. And question number 3: do you think Jesus is dead?
Not at all.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, joined by my friends Quantonaut and Scientific Snitch. Jesus is dead. Prove me wrong.
So, Jesus, that's an interpretation. I think it means, it's a living spirit. You guys just discerned from before this, but I think the word Jesus actually, to me, means yes, us, and God comes from within, and I is the term I use for the identification of self.
Wait.
So
Stop.
I is the way.
Stop. Repeat what you just said about the name Jesus.
Jesus is, well, you guys were saying it's a living spirit, right?
No,
Is
I
that
want
correct?
I want you to re-explain what you think the etymology of the name Jesus is, because I feel like a language
some people
lesson's
think-
about to become on.
Well, some people think it's Yeshua, but I think it's yes us. Like the people of the church or something, yes us. We the Spirit of God lives within us. It's like a mispronunciation, a misspelling, if you were
English?
older.
I'm having a hard time. Are you a troll?
No, I believe, seriously, I argue that I've had psychiatric for decades that I was God. And now I'm outside of that, but I still argue from the position that
That's not the meaning. That's not the meaning of the word Jesus. That's not its etymological origin. Objectively,
What
it's
is it?
not.
Can you teach me?
Jesus. Okay, yeah. We're gonna bring up the chalkboard, everyone. We haven't brought out the chalkboard in a second. Or I guess we'll just do a quick lesson on the origin of the name Jesus and what it actually means. Let's see.
I don't believe in free will. It doesn't exist. So that we agree on that.
Okay. All right. So let me get my pen. Oh, that's right.
And I believe senses in the brain
And
make
the-
up.
Okay, let's not get into all that. We'll get into all that in a second because I got scientists on the board, and I'm sure they'd love to hear what you have to
Not
say
the
about the
pineal, the
brain.
thalamus.
Well, we'll get to that in a
The
second.
thalamus.
I don't want to hear about that right now.
good.
We'll get to that next. I'm sure we'll get to the.
Thank you.
I have scientists on the board right now, and I'm sure they'd love to explain the brain to you. Now, in the Hebrew Bible, we have a person by the name of Joshua. Okay, Joshua in Hebrew is Yehoshua. And Yehoshua means Yahweh, which is the God of Israel, is salvation. In the Second Temple period, when the Jewish people were coming back from exile, the name Yehoshua was shortened to Yeshua. Yeshua is just the short form of Yehoshua. When the Jewish people wanted to translate the name Yeshua into Greek, they had to do so. Transliterate into Greek. They did so the best they could, but the problem is that Greek doesn't have an sh sound like the letter shin here. So, in order to bring Yeshua into Greek, the closest you can get is iota, eta. Instead of there's no s sound. I mean, no sh sound in Greek. So they just use an s sound, the sigma, and then omicron, upsilon, and because it's a male, it has to end with a sigma, letter sigma, bringing us to the pronunciation Jesus. Jesus is just a Greek transliteration of the Hebrew Yeshua, which is short for Yehoshua, which means Yahweh is salvation. And then Jesus becomes Jesus eventually into English. It doesn't have anything to do with the English word us or yes. Has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with that.
Fair enough. I want to accept that stance. So when it comes to good and evil, they don't exist either. They're relative. They're relative to your existence. Your senses, like your brain couldn't form or develop without senses.
What topic are we on?
Metaphysics.
Brain stuff isn't metaphysics. I'll let my scientist friends here cover this part.
The philosophy
because
behind
I'm about to blow my brains out. Listen to all this. So
the thalamus is basically
when it comes to this more than me.
I can barely hear this guy. What exactly is his specific claim here?
that the self is consciousness. The Spirit of God is Jesus is consciousness.
Yeah,
the brain.
no. So there's specific connections between various segments of your brain and their interaction with the external world, which is what generates consciousness or a subjective experience, and like the ability to pass things like, for example, a mirror test, which tells you that the organism that is taking this mirror test understands that they are an organism, and if you put something on them, they're going to try to remove it because they understand that what they're looking at is a reflection. They have that subjective experience. They have that consciousness. Now, consciousness can stem from various areas of the brain. It's really the interplay between various components. So what you're really looking for is like specific components of consciousness. So like awareness of being alive and like having that awake feeling. That's like the lamb. Well, I'm not done. So a feeling of being alive or awake is specifically related to like thalamocortical connections, as well as certain activity inside of the frontal lobe and the thalamus. Then you also have things like pain perception empathy, which comes from areas like the anterior insular cortex. And then you also have different kinds of empathy. I'm not very well researched on it, but I do know that this area plays a role in certain types of empathy, not the same thing as pain perception empathy. That would be the anterior cingulate cortex. So you're not... Consciousness is not Jesus. They come from very real parts of the brain and respond to very real signals. And we actually have tests for consciousness, and I can cite you the specific papers I'm talking about that refer to pretty much everything I just covered here, including pain perception empathy in the anterior insular cortex. But either ways, consciousness definitely is not Jesus. It is definitely an area in the brain, an activity specifically in these areas of the brain when they respond to external stimuli from your environment.
All right. Now that she's done, you can respond.
Okay. Is there any form of life that doesn't have...
So that depends on how you define senses. So if you're talking about specifically pain, then that's going to limit like the amount. So for example, if you have like quote unquote damaging stimuli, there are certain, that would be bacteria. Bacteria don't really have quote unquote senses in the same way that like humans or other animals do.
Not in the same way, but they still have senses.
In no real way do they have senses.
They have non-neural senses. So they have non-neural senses. So for example, specifically like chemotaxis, which is like chemical communication. I tried to combine the words for whatever reason because I'm walking on a treadmill. Sorry about that. But yeah, so bacteria can like have some like low levels of detection of light depending on the bacteria you're talking about. But predominantly it's like chemotaxis and like sense of chemical detection. But that's not necessarily the same thing as like neural senses. So as I said, because you're trying to make something that's nuanced oversimplified. Senses is not just one type of sense. There's multiple types of senses. There's neural senses, non-neural senses. So you'd have to specify which, like, what are you talking about?
Can I speak now?
Yeah, now that she's done talking, you can talk. That's how that works.
Cool, okay. I don't have much to say. I'd like to dialogues, but consciousness and awareness are two different things. Like senses are you need senses to live. Without senses, you can't really be alive, unless you've previously had these senses and they have been like you're brain dead and you're no longer connected to them. But you can't form life without senses.
What does this have to do with Jesus being a corpse? Whatever you think alive is,
Good
Jesus
and
isn't
evil.
that.
Good and evil, right? Your sense of good and evil.
So I could say that, so for example, like certain kinds of sponges and other non-moving organisms don't necessarily have neurons, nor do they have like the quote unquote like senses that humans have. So like there's that. But like, as I said before, like, you're trying to like oversimplify a very nuanced topic here, and that makes no sense. But also, I just wanted to point out that having senses is not a defining feature of life. You do realize that, right? It's like reproduction, consumption of food, that sort of thing, not like self-reproduction, not just having senses. And the reason for that is because scientists acknowledge that senses are very nuanced, and depending on the organism you're looking at, you're either looking at non-neural or neural senses. But organisms with non-neural senses aren't not alive. They're still alive, they just don't have the same kind of senses as humans.
Here's my question, Hotep. Is there any point after Jesus was obliterated by the Romans that he had any senses? That's what I want to know. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry. That's not my forte. I don't know that sort of stuff. I'm in this reincarnation. I'm in this existence. I have this.
What do the words above my head say, Hotep?
Prove you wrong.
About what?
The words further above your head? His death?
Yep. And
well,
Bye.
I'm a rig, right? I'm like a computer.
Fuck off. No one gives a shit about your new age bullshit. Jesus fucking Christ, wasting my time. All right. I'm sure you guys were also
Didn't he
annoyed by him.
psychological break at one point and thought that he was Jesus?
He thought he was God.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing as people, isn't it?
They say low hanging fruit tastes the best. It doesn't. Gross. Fuck that low hanging fruit. Okay. Can't fruitfully prove Jesus lives to a relativist. When it comes to facts, I'm not relativist. I think facts are rooted in objective reality. So you can prove to me objectively Jesus resurrecting the dead. All right. Nectario. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions. Hopefully you can, we'll see. Question number 1. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
He.
And then question number 3, is Jesus dead?
No.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I think Jesus is dead. Can you give me any reason to think otherwise?
Yeah, would you accept an internal world critique?
Internal?
Yeah, internal world critique. You're an
Internal to
atheist,
my-
right?
I am an atheist, but
Your
even if I
world
believe
view.
I am an atheist,
Your
but
world
even if I was a deist and believed in a God, I would still think Jesus is dead.
That's fine. Whether you're a generic deist or you're an atheist, I can still do the internal world critique with the question that I have, which
All right, here are my necessary conditions before we continue this conversation, because I'm getting heavy Philbro vibe from you. First and foremost, you won't be speaking fast in this live. You won't. You'll speak in a measured tone with me. Second off, you will not use technical jargon. You will speak to me like I am your grandmother. Those are my hard, fast rules.
yeah, I'll simplify it. I'll make it like, what is that show name? Are you smarter than a 5th grader? I'll make it like less than a 5th grader then.
There you
So
go.
my question to you would be, do you at least understand the word ought?
Ought?
Can I use that
Ought?
word?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, an ought. Like what we ought to do. Can you understand that?
Yeah. Here, actually, yeah, everyone, you're right. Let me just real quick. We haven't done this in a while. Let's see. Let me get it out for us real quick. Switch account. Just to make sure that things go smoothly here. Here. 15. Oh. Didn't mean to do that. 15. Timer. All right. I'm going to put a 15-minute timer up.
Oh, you got to run away. I know.
No, we just don't allow Philbro nonsense on this live. We have a hard, fast rule for that shit. So here we go. I got the Philbro timer up. 15 minutes. You get 15 minutes to try to prove to me that Jesus is alive. All right.
Yeah, so how do you get an ought from an is?
How do you get an ought from is? I don't know.
Yeah, you said you believe in objective reality and morality, so how do you get an ought from an is?
Ought from an is? Oh yeah. If your goal, when it comes to morality, I don't know what this has to do with the resurrection, but if it comes to morality, if your goal is like well-being, then you ought to do things that like align with that goal. But what does this have to do with the rabbi not being
So
dead?
sense data can tell you what truth is.
Sense data can show you what truth is. Generally, scientifically speaking, like what would you say about that, Quantonaut?
I would love to get the scientists to talk on this. I would love for the scientists to talk on this.
Okay. Well, I didn't catch the first part.
How do you get an ought from an is?
Well, I already answered that, but
What is
after
it?
that you said about sense data.
Sense data?
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
derive
because
truth
it's
from
a sense data.
Generally, we follow the scientific method, and we design experiments in such a way to prevent internal biases from influencing
Yeah,
the
that's an
results of
is.
experiments.
That's an is. You're not telling me how you get an ought from an is. You're telling me what the position is. I understand that's the position.
You just asked how we determine truth from sense data.
I'm already told you how we get an ought from is when it comes to morality. Like if your goal is well-being, you ought to do X, Y, and Z in order to meet that goal. You're burning precious time. We haven't gotten any closer to believing Jesus not dead.
Yeah, so you're telling me that you use sense data to know what truth is. Does sense data tell you that sense data is to
plus
be
a very
used?
specific process.
Does sense data tell you that sense data is true?
No, as I said, we have to follow
So
a
that's
very
a circle.
specific process
That's a
to
fallacy.
interpret that sense data correctly.
Hey, Nectario, what? Remember rule number 1, don't talk fast, first and foremost. And the third rule, engage with what Quantonaut said, not what you wanted him to say. That's the third rule. Go ahead and respond to what he said, Quantonaut.
Yeah, that's an ad hoc.
It's not an ad hominem. Shut up.
But
go ahead, Quantonaut.
I
not a
said
monologue.
that we interpret sense data using a very specific methodology, which we call the scientific method. You can't just take raw sense data and interpret it directly. You need to follow a very specific process to ensure that internal biases and other, illusionary things in the brain do not seep into your results.
Perfect. Is the scientific method sense data?
It uses sense data.
Okay, does it proceed from sense data?
That's part of the process. It's not the entire thing, but it is
So
part
your
of it.
answer is I use sense data to know what sense data is. That's a circle.
not
No,
what
it's
Quantonaut
not. As I
said.
said, it's only part of the process.
Again, can you interact with what Quantonaut
It's part of a larger
actually
process.
Can you interact with what Quantonaut actually said and not what you wanted him to say? We're 11 minutes 53 seconds left on
reiterate
the
what he
clock.
said?
We're 11 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock, and we're not any closer to you convincing me that Jesus isn't worm food.
Specifically, if you want me to elaborate, we use something called Bayesian inference to interpret sense data properly. And then we design experiments in such a way to maximize Bayesian inference to determine whether or not some proposition is true or not.
Okay. I'm going to ask it again. Does sense data tell you that sense data is to be used and true?
Not on its own. You need a process along with it.
The process is still sense data. That's a circle.
No,
Again,
it is
you're
not
still
just sense
going-
data.
It's
It
a
is
circle and
process
circle and
that
circle and
uses sense
circle.
data.
Is
It,
this
it
you?
uses things like
I
logical
like how you guys are
inference.
low tier, so you have to mute.
It
this
uses things like logical inference.
Is this a long about way for you telling us that you're not going to be able to provide evidence for Jesus resurrected? So you're just going to attack our ability to
Yeah, I feel
learn new
like this
things?
is just going to collapse into hard solipsism, and you're
Yeah.
just going to say that Jesus is the alternative to hard solipsism, which is not a strong argument.
Yeah, so I'm breaking the presuppository worldview that you have in order to refute your worldview. Because if I can destroy the fundamentals of your worldview, then you can't make any truth claims at all.
How is
No,
this a
you-
presupposition?
Yeah.
Why are you muting? Why are you muting? You're scared, I know. But don't mute. Let me finish the argument.
What?
So if you
I
make a
said,
truth
how
claim,
is this a presupposition?
I'll mute you as long as I want to. And you're wasting time. I'm not any bit closer to believing Jesus isn't
Because you're
dead.
scared. I know you're
I'm
scared.
not. I'm bored, not
You're
scared. Those
scared.
are though
No.
I'm bored, not scared. Those are two
And you
different
haven't addressed
emotions.
No, you're a gay
anything
theist.
that I
You're
said
scared.
either. Is this your argument, by the way? Are you going to try to argue that under my view, my view would collapse into hard solipsism, and therefore the only alternative is Jesus? Is that the argument?
No, you pancake. We haven't even gone there yet.
I really
Dude,
wish you
don't
would just.
insult Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Why?
Talk about an ad hom.
I know. Like, why is it that
You don't even know what
it's
an
like
ad hoc is.
shut up. You know, it's like they really. It's like these Philbros really just don't want us to be saved. They don't want us to believe in God. They don't want us to believe in Jesus. They don't want us to be saved, or else they wouldn't act like such little absolute pricks.
You're gay.
Like,
You wouldn't even.
go. I know you can go around
You're
swinging.
literally
Talk
gay. You
about
don't want to be
ad-homs.
saved.
You can go around swinging your tiny dick, calling me gay, but I don't think gay is a bad thing to be. So calling me gay doesn't mean anything to me.
See, look. Of course, you don't think it's bad because
Oh,
you're
why
gay.
would I?
Well, this
Why
is
would
also
You don't want to be
like,
saved because you're gay.
wait,
What?
you're going around saying that he's throwing ad hominems, but you're throwing ad hominems at literally everybody. You've thrown one at everyone except for me, and you're like saying that we're insulting you. No,
'Cause
we're
nobody's
not.
talking
You're
to
the
you.
one insulting us.
I haven't said a single insult
Nobody's
this
talking to
entire
you.
time.
You know what? Oh yeah, you know what? For the misogyny and the inability to engage like a grown ass adult,
Running
I'm
away.
gonna take this.
Running
I'm
away.
gonna. Nope, not running away
You
because I'll be
conceded.
right. Nope, not running away. I'm right here. I'm just kicking you out of my house. When I kick you out of my house, that's not me running away. That's me kicking you out of my house for being an asshole. See, look, none of these Philbros can act like adults. They all have to engage in ad hominems. They have to engage in like pointing at people and calling them gay because they think that's an insult. It's not. Not an insult to be gay, but the fact that you use it as an insult tells me how much of a shit person you are. So thank you. I am further away from believing that Jesus is alive. Thank you for that.
It's such a shame too, because I love talking about the epistemology of science. Like, it's a really fascinating topic. But then he just had to go and start calling people gay and stuff. So, you know.
And also, he didn't
By the
have
way-
exactly what you were
Conversation with a
actually
child.
saying.
Yeah,
By the
right.
way-
Snitch?
By
Talking
the
to a
way,
brick wall.
oh, Quanta, I started learning sass. By the way.
You started running. Oh, just sass.
Yeah, I've been
Sassy.
coding in sass. It's so much better than R. Holy moly! I feel like I've been in the dark ages.
It's very fun. And what's really fun is that most of them are completely oblivious to it.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about, but you know what? Sounds like fun.
Exactly.
I'm all for it.
Science deniers.
Oh, science deniers. Fuck them. All of them. Now, you know what's really crazy? I guess, do I have any super chats? I have one super chat, real quick.
W to GeForce for sending 20 The Bible Guy gift memberships. Get them memberships, y'all.
All right. I guess for now, since we don't have any more guests and because I'm not bringing you back up, Hotep, you were just talking about nonsense. Here, Hotep, I'll bring you up, but you have to provide me some reason to think that Jesus isn't dead, and don't go back into your bullshit. All right? We'll try it again with you. Hotep, why should I think that Jesus isn't a dirty, rotting, worm-filled corpse?
I guess I can't really give you a very good reason. We exist, and like, what else is there other than mechanical processing without some form of spirit?
Even if there was a supernatural, doesn't mean Jesus was resurrected. Do you think that every claim from the ancient world where people were resurrected from the dead are true?
My argument is that Jesus is the spirit from within us, in all life. Basically,
no, Jesus of Nazareth was a Jewish man who took a huge L from the Romans 2,000 years ago.
yeah, that would have been one instance of the spirit, but you're an instance
No,
of the
but
spirit, and
that's-
so am I.
No, I don't have a spirit.
The cat,
It's
the cat and I are the same, except for we have different
concept
rigs.
of Jesus to the point of being entirely meaningless.
I don't speak fluent Aramaic. How am I Jesus?
No, the spirit, your brain is yours. Your experiences are yours. but
correct.
We have one commonality. We exist.
So
Here we
what?
think that exists.
I exist, but
Well,
guess what? Who
I
does?
could-
Well, I exist, but guess who doesn't currently exist? Jesus, because he's dead. Is this just going to be more
Okay,
new age? Is this going to be more new age
Question.
bullshit? Yeah, go ahead. What's on?
Can you name somebody that you know is dead? Just any random person from history. You're muted.
Sorry, my grandma.
Okay, sure. Now, actually, just for the sake of this, can you choose somebody like just a historical person, just
Well,
so that this
for
won't
the
sound
sake
weird?
for the sake of this, I need to use my grandma because I share time with her in my space, even though she's dead.
I'm
and she
just
brings
saying
energy
a
into my
person
body
from
for my
history that
thought.
you know is dead, not like related to you.
Okay, let's say Malcolm X. I don't know him very well, but I know what he stands for.
Okay, Malcolm X.
So when I think of Malcolm X,
what is the difference between Malcolm X being dead and Jesus like not being dead? Like, what is the symmetry breaker between those two? Why is
Well,
one dead
Malcolm-
but the other isn't?
well, the symmetry is they still of people.
I just told you to think of somebody who is definitely dead.
Malcolm X.
Yeah, so why
But-
is Malcolm X dead but Jesus isn't?
He lives on as my argument. He lives on in a movement.
Yeah.
He lives on in me.
I'm going crazy here.
Yeah,
Don't you understand what I'm trying to get at here, right?
I understand. Fuck them. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the new age bullshit. I don't give a shit about whether or not Jesus lives on in your heart. I only care about whether or not the man was actually in real life alive the same way that I'm alive. No one gives a shit about the memory of Jesus. Fuck him.
And but by his own
These-
logic, it
these-
sounds like he thinks that nobody died.
I know these people bring out the worst in me. I swear to God. It's quite crazy. I'm gonna need a therapist from doing this so much. Oh my God, W Snarky Dalton, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the cowboy hat. Okay, and it's the living spirit. No fucking, there's no such thing as fucking spirits, Hotep, and I'm tired of I'm muting you because I'm tired of your new age constant bullshit. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I'll bring up one last guest, and then that's the rest I can do for the day because any more of this shit, and I'm gonna start actually being mean. Like, you think I've been mean now? I have not been mean yet. Gavin, I'm gonna ask you 3
Okay.
questions, and then
Go
we can
ahead.
get to the conversation.
Okay.
Question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 21 years old.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then question number 3: is Jesus dead?
Yeah.
Okay, a reasonable
But
person.
hold
Okay.
on. Hold on. I am a Christian. He
We're
did
mutuals.
perish. Yeah, Quantan's my friend. Jesus is unfortunately gone, which was fortunate also because he perished for our sins. As Christians, I don't know if you're an atheist or a Christian, a denomination, but yeah, he's gone. That was the whole purpose of him.
He's still gone.
Yeah, he's still gone. He rose up just for a little bit and say, "Hey guys, I'm going back to heaven, but like, I perished for your sins. Y'all good."
I've
I love
actually
y'all.
not had this conversation with you, Gavin, so this is interesting.
Yeah.
I would say no. He didn't resurrect from the dead.
I mean, yeah, you could say it's not a resurrection technically. He didn't say. It was kind of just like a.
The claim is that there wasn't anything supernatural that happened.
Yeah, like the way that the way that my grandmother died is the same way Jesus died. Like, she died, all brain function ceased, therefore the person ceased. Same thing with Jesus of Nazareth.
Hopefully not by crucifixion, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
maybe not crucifixion style.
Grandma got off easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the whole point in Christianity is like he's gone. Even if you don't believe the resurrection story, the whole point of like Christianity is to like, say, yeah, he perished for us, he perished for our sins. That's the whole reason of Jesus
Well-
Christ of Nazareth.
Well, can you prove that Jesus' death was a sacrifice and not just an execution?
I can't really confirm physically. I can just go by what not the scholars, but like Paul in his letters, and everyone else who has like spoken to God in the New Testament like have said, and
Well,
his followers in the book.
the
So
reason Paul
it is faith based. It is faith based.
the symmetry breaks between
Oops, sorry.
That was the Philbro timer. Anyways, the difference between Jesus merely being executed versus him actually being a sacrifice is determined by whether or not he resurrected from the dead. Paul says if Christ is not raised, then you are dead in your sins. So like, do we have any good reason to think Jesus was raised?
Well, I can only say, and this would be my argument. I wouldn't like say that this is what scholars say and everything. My argument would be that it is because Jesus is different. He is, the Son of God and everything, and his coming back was just temporary, so he could tell us like his final words. So like,
I would say that Jesus,
if that makes sense.
Not only was Jesus not the Messiah, he wasn't even not the Son of God. He wasn't even the Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecies.
The prophecies.
He's no more the Son of God than Caesar or Alexander the Great was the Son of God.
I guess. I mean, yeah, there is that. However, I think that especially during that time, if we're gonna go to like the Bible, I believe that God himself wouldn't have allowed Jesus to go on for so long and allowed him to come back like that to like his followers and everyone and his mother say like, hey, we're all good now.
Well, I don't think Jesus appeared to anyone after he died. I think the most likely explanation is that Peter, who was one of Jesus' closest, had a bereavement hallucination where he was simply seeing Jesus after he died. Not that Jesus was actually dead, but just that he hallucinated it. And then through expectation and religious practices like fasting and whatnot, the rest of the believers had a collective delusion where they thought that Jesus was like with them as well.
You see, I do like to think about the Bible like that with some of its stories like that. Like it is explained scientifically in a way. Like, Mary seeing Jesus in like a delusion or whatever. Maybe that's just his way of showing up, like that was how it went. Like, for instance, how like the story, I don't know if you ever heard where the frogs rained from the sky and the locusts came and all that.
Yeah, the Exodus.
Yeah.
I don't think Mary Magdalene was a real person though. Like the gospel stories were written much later. And when Paul talks to us about the people that Jesus appeared to, he never mentions an empty tomb, and he never mentions Mary Magdalene. He says the first person that Jesus quote appeared to is Peter.
If I remember, was I one of the disciples? Am I blanking on the disciples?
Say what?
I think I'm blanking out. Was I a disciple? Was that one of Jesus' disciples? The wise men? Not wise men.
Peter?
His followers. Yeah, wasn't Peter one of the 12 men that came with Jesus? Okay, yeah.
But Paul never mentions Mary
Peter,
Magdalene.
yes.
He doesn't seem to be aware of Mary Magdalene whatsoever. When he gives us a list of the number of people that Jesus appeared to first to last, first it's Peter, and last of all, it was him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking out so hard. Wow. My apologies.
You're fine. I mean, so do we have any good reason to think that Jesus was actually resurrected as opposed to just a group of people who were grieving their deceased rabbi, hallucinated him, or had like some sort of collective delusion?
I feel like it could be both, if that makes sense. Like
either like if Peter and Paul and them would have went to wherever Jesus was buried and they managed to find his body, would there have been a body there?
It says that when Mary went, that there wasn't a body. Like her and like who was it? 2 other people came with her. 2 other women came and they saw the angel. They looked inside the tomb and Jesus' body wasn't there.
Well,
which it was like a very big rock for them to move. They would need like 10 people to move it again.
Well, I don't think Mary Magdalene's a real person. I don't think Jesus was buried in a tomb. Those are later myths about Jesus written decades and decades and decades after the fact. Most likely Jesus was probably thrown into a mass grave, and then left to rot. And then his disciples, he appeared to them later. Paul never mentions a tomb for Jesus to be buried, and he never uses the argument of the empty tomb as evidence for the resurrection.
Yeah, I guess I will admit I don't think I am equipped to converse in the instance that you do not believe in Mary Magdalene's existence. So I will like concede a little bit. I don't know if I'm equipped enough for this conversation. If that makes sense.
I'll
I
give
don't
you
need to
some
run
help.
away or anything.
No, you're good. I'll give you some help on this. If you ever want to come back and have the conversation, just so you know ahead of time, I don't think the Gospels are historically accurate because they contain historical contradictions. Like they can't agree on the nativity of Jesus. They can't agree about the crucifixion, and they can't agree on the matters of the resurrection. And they were written by unknown people at a later time. So just a heads up for why it is I do not like consider, and also they just contradict what Paul says as well. So like that's why I don't consider the Gospels when I talk about the resurrection of Jesus.
Yeah, I agree. Like the history, like history wise, the timelines aren't right. But like my argument for that is like it has been what 2025 years, I guess, since the death of Christ, and then like it came out, the actual Bible came out like 300 years after. It has gone through a lot of translation through 1700 years, different languages, different people.
What? Well, it's not that the Bible came out 300 years after Jesus. The Bible. I mean, the idea of the Bible as like as in the bound collection of a canonical work was formulated by Athanasius around the 4th century. But like the books of the Bible were being written both before, during, and after the time of Jesus. And when it comes to translation, we can look at the original Greek manuscripts as far back as the 2nd century CE, and all the problems I just listed are still there, even in the original Greek manuscripts.
Like the original Greek manuscripts, because I don't know if.
Well, not the
we found
autographs.
those.
Not the autographs,
Okay.
because those certainly don't exist anymore. But like
Okay.
we're able to, like, using textual criticism, we're able to gather the manuscripts that we do have, and we're able to come to a pretty close conclusion as to what it was that at least was originally written by comparing all the different manuscripts. And the problems that I discuss are still there even in the original Greek.
I guess. I don't know.
But,
I think I'm unequipped for this conversation.
Yeah,
I will admit to my defeat.
I'll let you go and do your homework, and next time I'm running this live, we can talk more about it. I'm thinking the next live by the way, for everyone who wants to know, the next live topic we will be running on Tuesday, I'm going to create a new background for Jesus is not the Messiah, and we will be discussing solely for that whole episode the fact that Jesus did not fulfill messianic prophecy. And Christians, prepare yourself for this conversation. Go out, do your research, and see if you can convince me that Jesus was the Messiah and that he fulfilled messianic prophecy. So there you go. Forewarning. All right.
Well, thank you very much for your time, host. I do appreciate it having this conversation with you, even though it was a little short.
You too, Gavin. It was a good way for me to end the night because, like, so far everyone else has been giving me an aneurysm. Aneurysm.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. But it was a good way to end the live. So you have a good day, Gavin.
You too, man.
All right, let's see who's live that we can send a little raid to. Fuck me. All right, let's see. And that was a request, that last thing I just said. But anyways, let's see. Let's see. Who is live right now? Deconstruction Zone. Justin is live right now. So everyone, YouTube, go ahead and get the link to Justin's channel. I'll give you a moment to do that. Overall, though, good show. Lots of clippable moments. 100% sure, for sure. Thank you, everyone, for all the super chats. I cannot stress enough that I really would like to continue doing this for a living. And I can't do that without your help. And I appreciate all the help that I've been getting. We are so close now to raising the money for the apartment. And once I get into the apartment, I'm going to be doing live much longer and on more days. 100%. You're going to be getting more Bible Guide content. Say what?
And with better internet, hopefully.
And with better internet. I mean, that's kind of the whole reason. If I move into an apartment in town and my internet's better, I'm gonna fucking shit bricks. But no, I'm gonna pay for like the best possible internet I can get, that I can afford when I'm out there, so that we can like. Although my internet's gotten a little bit better this month, and I was able to upload 2 whole videos to YouTube 2 nights ago. Wow, I know. It took me 10 hours to upload 1 video one time, and I was able to upload 2 of them in like 8 hours. So that's like infinitely better. Yeah, yeah, and so, yeah. Nini Bob was like, "Damn, yeah, yeah." You guys just remember that, all of you city living folk. Just I want you to appreciate how good you've got it on the internet right now. Rob Tingle says, "Wouldn't give you a single penny." Well, guess what, fucking Rob? I don't want your pennies. Fucking. That's fine. Other people give me their pennies. That's all good. Anyways, the bar is pretty low for better internet there. Yeah, literally, like almost anything is better at this point, right? All right. YouTube Punk has sent out the link. Go tell Justin at Deconstruction Zone that the Bible guy sent you. And with that, I have been the Bible guy. Make sure that you are following Quantanaut and Scientific Snitch. They have great content. If you like science content on Quant, it handles physics, theoretical physics, and he talks about particle colliders, which he works at one, I believe. A hadron, a collider of some kind, right?
Hadron Collider.
Hadron Collider, yeah. And then and I'm thinking, I said Hadron because I'm thinking of Hadrian, the British ruler. Oh, yeah, Hadrian's Wall, the emperor. Anyways,
and I more do experimental physics rather than theoretical physics.
Experimental physics, that's right, because of course it would be hands-on experimental if you're working with colliders. And then Snitch, you usually
Blitz
cover
is the theoretical one.
That's right, yeah. And then Snitch likes to call is physiology. Is that what you study?
Yep, I'm pursuing my graduate degree in physiology. And everything I say is my opinion and my opinion alone, because my university requires me to say that.
Yes. Well, there you go, guys. Make sure you're following them. And I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again Tuesday at around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will be talking about Jesus is not the Messiah. All right. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, echoes of prophets, the scars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine, reason ascends where blind faith fell, he reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light, through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guy, scrolls of ages, words aflame, he dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky, he breaks the chains of every lie. Logos, Logos, the word and the flame, reason shall rise, and truth has a name. The Bible guy, he shines with